Hawkhead said there's a shortage of people who can look after more than one child.
Most of the time when children are being split up from one another, it is simply because there are not enough foster carers out there. We need people to come forward as foster carers. We have 8,600 fewer foster carers than we need in the UK today.
Police in London searching for the missing teenager Alice Gross have arrested a second man on suspicion of murder. 14-year-old Alice was last seen 11 days ago. Police have arrested an 18-year-old man following 3 suspicious incidents in Princess Risborough. The man, who's from the town, was arrested on Saturday night, as Iain Duncan reports.
A member of staff at a home in Princess Risborough saw a man in a resident's room, and when she told him to leave, he climbed out of a window and ran away. Shortly after this, a resident in Woodfield Road saw a man standing on some scaffolding and called police as he was acting suspiciously. And a woman in her 30s was walking with a friend on Wickham Road when a man exposed himself to them. Police say the offender is white, slim, in his late teens to early 20s, with dark hair, and was wearing a dark-coloured hoodie.
Wasps Rugby Club, which currently plays home games at Wycombe's Adams Park ground, could play in Coventry next season. Coventry Rugby Club's president, Peter Rossborough, says they're currently in talks.
We're going to be proactive. We've got to make sure that there's if anything does happen, that there's a synergy out there between ourselves and Wasps, and that both clubs benefit from their move to the RICA if that happens.
Lewis Hamilton claimed his 6th victory of the season, winning the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. He finished ahead of his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg and thanked his fans after the race.
What a great crowd we have here. This is amazing to see. The whole finish line straight is completely filled with fans, and you guys make this race, so thank you so much for the support.
And the weather will be misty at first, but staying dry and mostly sunny. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. That's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
I think it's disgusting.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots to talk about this morning, including taxi crackdown in Milton Keynes, call for more foster families in the East, and punters nonplussed by pub grub protester. Who writes this rubbish?
Me.
Thank you. 08459 455 555. That's the telephone number.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, Milton Keynes Council is set to take action tonight following last week's revelation that a serial rapist was given a taxi licence. There's been widespread condemnation of councillors who approved that driver's application, along with 6 others with convictions, at least one of which is for a sexual offence. Well, our political reporter Paul Scoynes has been looking into this. And, Paul, you're going to be at the council meeting tonight, are you?
Yeah, that's right, Ian. It's the Cabinet meeting, which is the sort of the executive body of Milton Keynes Council, if you like, and they'll be going through these emergency procedures which they brought in. It's a special item on the agenda that wasn't there initially and has been brought in at the last minute.
The action that we're talking about is a tightening of licensing procedure. How does it work at the moment?
Well, they've been working from a draft procedure which was drawn up last year, and we talked about that last week, where we said that they would not approve somebody who'd had a sexual conviction unless there was a, quote, exceptional circumstance. Well, you know, that seems to be still what's going to be happening after tonight. It seems that the policy that they're putting forward is really nothing more than a sort of confirmation of the policy that they were using before. So it still leaves a little bit of wriggle room for councillors to put somebody like that through, should they want to. Should there be a, quote, exceptional circumstance?
So is anything changing?
Well, not from what I can see. I mean, I've had a look at the 2 previous the sort of previous agenda, which again, it wasn't confirmed, so they didn't have anything other than a draft. At the time that this taxi driver was given that approval back in initially 2011 and then reconfirmed in 2012, councillors tell me that there was actually no written sort of guidance whatsoever. So this is better than that, I suppose, and it does say that unless this is a direct quote, unless there are exceptional circumstances, an application would normally be refused where the applicant has a conviction for an offence such as rape and other serious sexual crimes, and that goes on into other sort of definitions as well. It wouldn't be granted where the applicant had a conviction for an offence or similar offence which is less than 10 years prior to the date of application as well.
We heard about some parts of the country that got much stricter rules. Leeds springs to mind. How does this compare?
Well, I mean, it isn't as clear, let's be honest, and we looked to Leeds and we did find that completely by chance, but that has a very strict points-based system. It's very clear that if you've had a conviction for rape, you will not get a licence. It is instantly refused. Councillors and officers, because let's not forget the majority of these decisions are actually not made by councillors. Councillors only tend to make the really controversial ones. The majority of these decisions are made by officers behind the scenes, before, not in meetings. So that guidance would go for them as well. This is definitely not as strong as that. Again, I'm looking at violence, and it said unless there were exceptional circumstances, a licence would not normally be granted where an applicant had a conviction for murder or manslaughter or terrorism offences as well. But again, it's that sort of that vagueness of exceptional circumstance. What would be the exceptional circumstance, you might ask, that somebody who had a murder conviction, perhaps if it was a false conviction, they'd been repealed, or rape, would be granted a licence where you would drive, children and vulnerable people around. Now,
in the case of this, the chap who got the driving licence and was a rapist, there are 3 kind of main characters on there: the former mayor and 2 other councillors. The former mayor made a character statement about this person. The 2 other councillors granted this, were part of the team that granted this person the licence. We've been trying to talk to all 3 of them a lot. Have we made any progress with that? Do we know if they're going to be at this meeting tonight?
The progress that we've made has unfortunately not been able to get us an interview. We've been trying. We've sent letters, recorded delivery. So we will...
Because Mr Shafiq has stepped down as mayor, but he's still a councillor, isn't he?
Yes, as the other 2 stepped down from the licensing panel, one of the chair and the vice chair at the time who made the decision back in 2012. Let's not forget that the person who was the chair of the committee in 2011, when this gentleman was initially put forward, has now stopped being a councillor. we've made repeated attempts to contact them without success. They won't be at the meeting tonight, because it's a cabinet meeting. They're not members of the executive. I mean, any councillor can attend, but it's really unlikely that they'll be there. And then on Wednesday, there's a full council meeting for Milton Keynes where every councillor is supposed to attend. Now, whether or not the former mayor attends that night is up to them as well. We will be going to that meeting too, but I'll be going to the one tonight. I'll be able to let you know how it goes tomorrow.
Paul, thank you very much.
Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. They say in heaven, love comes first. We'll make heaven a place on earth. Ooh, heaven is a place on
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting to build up a bit on the A1, the Great North Road, just approaching the Black Cat roundabout and those roadworks that are taking place. The M1 heading northbound is closed on the exit Slip Road at the moment, just at junction 12 for Flitwick due to a broken down lorry there. So far, checking on the M25 and the M40, everything's running well so far this morning. And on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah.
6:16 or thereabouts. It's Monday, the 8th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A lack of foster carers in the east of England means a fifth of looked-after children are separated from their brothers and sisters. Oh, hang on, that's not the headlines. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I do apologise. It's 6:15. These are your headlines. Focus, everybody. That is one of the stories. There's concern about the high number of siblings being split up when placed into foster care. Rules on who can drive taxis in Milton Keynes will be tightened this evening after it emerged a convicted rapist was given a licence. And Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton won the Italian Grand Prix at Monza.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Come on, guys, it's Monday. I've had 5 hours sleep. Give me a break.
There were golds galore in Glasgow.
Commonwealth Games as a whole was an amazing experience, and to bring back the amount of medals that we did was amazing.
Well, what a performance! But once again, we also want to celebrate our unsung sporting heroes this year.
She's an amazing coach who really inspires us.
So who will you nominate?
She understands how we feel and everything.
We're looking for someone who's made their contribution for no reward, but had the enjoyment of seeing sport flourish in our local communities. To make your nomination, go to bbc.co.uk/unsunghero and download a form. The closing date is the 20th of October, with our 2014 Unsung Hero announced at this year's BBC Sports Personality of the Year.
You can't bottle it.
Get inspired and get nominating.
It would appear, judging from this song and the others who are coming up, Catherine Boyle has taken over the music this morning. Is that correct?
Yeah, let's have it.
Having a little bit of a midlife crisis?
A bit, but that Belinda Carlisle song reminded me of the roller disco, so you brought it on yourself, really.
I've not brought anything on myself. Let's all just have a second to think of Belinda Carlisle. Thanks very much indeed. Now, a lack of foster carers in the east of England means a fifth of looked-after children are separated from their brothers and sisters. That's according to Action for Children, who are urging more people to consider providing temporary homes for children whose parents aren't able to care for them themselves. Well, Sue Atkinson-Milmore is the charity's Children's Placement Manager and joins me now. Morning, Sue.
Good morning.
So tell me why children are being separated from their siblings and try and explain why that's such a bad thing.
They're being separated simply because we don't have enough foster carers who are willing to take sibling groups. A lot of people have come forward in the last year and have said that they are willing to take sibling groups, but we need more is the basic answer to that, unfortunately. For the siblings themselves, if they are separated, it can have a huge, huge effect. Not only in childhood, when they will miss their sibling, they will have a sense of loss, their behaviour may change, but also into adulthood. We find it impacts on their ability to develop strong relationships, to get work, to have sort of a normal, healthy, emotional life. So it's actually vital for us that people come forward who are willing to take groups of children.
Well, are we talking kind of 2 children, 3 children? What's the kind of standard here?
Whatever the makeup of the family is, realistically. I mean, it gets more complicated, obviously, if it's a huge family. But often, at least if 2 or 3 of the siblings are together, if it was a very, very large family, then at least you have cohesion. But also, you know, some families do have to be separated. There is no doubt, and there are good reasons for that. But then what they need is the contact between their siblings to be maintained and encouraged, so that they can still have those relationships, even if they can't actually be in the same home.
Does the council have a responsibility to place a child with their siblings?
All councils, yes, have a legal duty if it's reasonably practical and it's consistent with welfare. So if there is no reason for them not to be, then yes, councils should be placing young people together.
You mentioned, Sue, something interesting, that there might be circumstances where putting the siblings together isn't necessarily the best idea. What would those situations be?
It could be anything really from a range of scenarios in terms of if there has been bullying between those siblings, if there has been some kind of abuse within the family home where the power between the siblings has been used to allow that abuse to take place. But all of those issues are still have that underlying connection that those young people have, and we need to kind of find a way to keep those positive connections and deal with the issues that might have caused a rift between them.
What needs to change?
We need more foster carers. Simple as that, is it? It's very simple as that, because we need to be able to offer local authorities that option to leave young people together and leave families together. So, yeah, it is a simple solution, I agree, but it's a good one, and it's certainly a massive step forward.
If people are interested, or considering it, or thinking, maybe there's something in it, where do they go to find out more?
They can go to either our website, which is www.actionforchildren.org.uk, or they can ring our central team on 0845 200 5162.
Sue, I appreciate you talking to us at this ridiculous time of the morning. Thank you very much indeed. That's Sue Atkinson-Milmore, who is from Action for Children. 08459 455 555.
I'm not sure I could. They say time heals everything, but I'm still waiting. I'm through with doubt. There's nothing left for me to figure out. I've paid I'm not sure I could. They say time heals everything, but I'm still waiting.
I'll have some of that, please.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading northbound. There's a lane closed at the moment on the exit slip road. Just at junction 12 for Flitwick, there's a broken down lorry there causing some problems. The M25 heading anti-clockwise. That's looking rather slow moving between junction 21 for the M1 and junction 20 at Kings Langley. And taking a look in St Albans, roadworks continue on Hatfield Road at Station Road, so do expect some delays there during the rush. No reported problems on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. Coming up, what's the fuss over foie gras? And our psychic correspondent Justin Dealey was excited, nay ecstatic to see in the papers scientists have proved telepathy exists. Oh, those guys.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. Milton Keynes Council is expected to tighten its taxi licensing policy this evening. It follows widespread condemnation of councillors who approved a licence for a convicted rapist. A fifth of children in the east of England are being separated from their siblings when placed into foster care. The charity Action for Children says it's because there aren't enough people who can look after more than one child. Police in London searching for the missing teenager Alice Gross have arrested a second man on suspicion of murder. 14-year-old Alice was last seen 11 days ago. The weather will be misty at first, but staying dry and mostly sunny. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius at 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lewis Hamilton has claimed his sixth victory of the season, winning the Italian Grand Prix at Monza.
He's won here in Italy before. He's going to take his sixth victory of this championship. He's never done that before in his F1 career. He's so happy. He swerves the car from left to right at 200 miles an hour. It's victory in Italy for Lewis Hamilton. His championship campaign is back on track. But is this the day when his teammate Rosberg cracked under pressure?
In tennis, Serena Williams beat Caroline Wozniacki in straight sets to win her sixth US Open and 18th Grand Slam title. The victory moves her to joint fourth in the all-time list of major winners alongside Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert. Luton Town are still waiting for their first home league win of the season after losing 1-0 to Plymouth. Wycombe Wanderers remain fifth in League 2 after a 0-0 draw with Bury. Stevenage lost 3-2 at home against York, and after Andy Bond was sent off, manager Graham Wesley says improvements on the pitch need to be made.
We are making some silly mistakes at the moment. There's a little bit of confusion here or confusion there, and we don't quite do the right thing in the right situation. I want the player who's going to play with conviction. So they're learning, they're improving, they're developing. This will be a good side, but the learning has got to stop and the delivering has got to start sooner rather than later for the season to be a success, but we'll get there.
England begin their Euro 2016 qualifying campaign against Switzerland tonight. They'll be without the injured Daniel Sturridge, but Hodgson says they're capable of getting a win.
I'm very satisfied with the group of players that I have to choose the team from, and I'm quite confident that whatever team I put on the field, I won't be let down, or we won't be let down by the players, and A, their understanding of their job, and B, their desire to do it.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport. We've more at 7 o'clock.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
It's working.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's not working for me.
You're almost irrelevant in this. People are loving the If You Hear a Whisper, Give Us a Shout campaign, and Justin has told me he has got some Give Us a Whisper, Hear a Whisper, Give Us a Shout.
Yeah, they like saying
Gold.
it, but they don't do it.
It takes a while for it to be... We have had some great... I tell you what, dear listener, why don't you phone up now and prove Catherine wrong, right?
What, whisper or something?
No, they shout at us. They've heard a whisper. If you've heard a whisper this weekend, give us a shout. Oh, wait. Kels, get ready. You might want to put that drink down because I think the phones are going to go ballistic.
And
I'm ready.
3.
No,
2.
I've not given out...
1.
Hello, Three Counties. Oh, you've got a whisper. Yeah. Okay, Ian, I've just got to get this. If you don't.
Okay, yeah, she's going to take that.
She's got to get it, but she's already talking to them.
08459 455 555. Come on, guys, once and for all, let's get our own back on Catherine Mardy Boyle. And if you've heard a whisper, give us a shout. Or you can make something up. Right.
Yeah,
What you got in the papes?
Keith Richards, apparently, strict dad.
No, he's not.
Having a rock star for a father might seem like a dream to many youngsters, unless that father happens to be Keith Richards, of course. No, I don't think that first paragraph means anything to anyone. For Theodora Richards, daughter of Rolling Stone Keith, growing up could be more like a teenager's worst nightmare. There was the occasion when her Hellraiser father threatened her boyfriend with extremely painful and permanent consequences when he caught them in an amorous clinch.
Oh, for goodness
and then there were the strict rules, no lipstick before the age of 16 and no sitting at the kitchen table.
But you can do as much heroin as you want.
Well, apparently she didn't know about his drug history until she looked him up in the library. How very old-fashioned.
Goodness sakes. I've read Keith Richards's, where would the apostrophe go there after the S?
After the S, yes.
Autobiography.
You can put another S on the end, but you don't need to.
And he comes across as a complete and utter cheese.
And this is his own words.
His own words. Right, the story at the very end, right, this is in his own book, is he's in a limousine, right, coming out of a TV studio or a concert, and there's a fan who's got a really rare guitar, really expensive guitar, and he's offering it to Keith Richards to sign. Keith Richards takes the guitar, tells the driver to drive off. He steals a guitar from a bloke at the end of his own autobiography. And that's the least of his... How are those calls doing, Kels?
Yes, I can get back to you very soon.
OK, she's very, very busy. She's not pretending.
She's totally pretending.
08459 455 555. No, I don't like Keith Richards.
Well, she hasn't read his memoirs.
Oh.
His daughter. It's funny, isn't it? Because you said to me that his first round of children were treated quite differently.
His first boy lived in like this mansion on his own, and he'd pop back and see him once every 6 months or something. Really?
Maybe it's different for girls.
The only interesting thing in that book is that he says that Mick Jagger's got a tiny winkle.
Obviously, he knows how to use it.
Speaking of tiny winkles, go naked. Fancy going naked?
I haven't got a tiny winkle.
It's...
Don't want to embarrass you.
It's only natural, says Kate. I hate these perverts. Getting close to nature is all part of the day job for BBC wildlife presenter Kate Humble.
Oh, Kate, stop it.
But when the cameras aren't rolling, the 45-year-old has revealed the best way to connect with Mother Earth is by being naked. No! It's disgusting. She describes the feeling as joyous and insists everyone should try it. The Spring Watch presenter, who runs a farm with her husband of 22 years, who's... Guess what her husband's name is?
Jonty.
No, it's a board game.
Oh. Monopoly?
No.
Snakes and Ladders?
No. Kels?
Kaplunk?
No.
Mousetrap?
No. Guess... Well, I'm saying guess properly. It's just as ridiculous.
Game of Life?
Ludo.
Oh. That does mean play, doesn't it? I play.
You Ludo?
He's playful.
Ludo Graham. My husband and I dance... Oh, this is just...
This is what happens in the countryside.
My husband and I danced naked in the middle of the desert in Jordan once. Oh. If you can't get
Can you get banged up for that?
If you can't get your... You can in Jordan, can't you?
Wow,
probably.
You have to keep yourself covered.
If you can't get your kicks in that incredibly innocent, joyful way, then the world is not a good place.
Think of all the sand.
Oh, this is one of the things, okay. People say, oh, wouldn't it be exciting if we made love on the beach?
Oh, no.
Nope, because that's going to
chafe.
That is going to chafe. Should we have a record, then some more news?
Yeah, go on.
08459 455... How are those calls doing, Kels?
Oh, that's a great story.
There we go. 08459 455 555. What?
You're kidding no one.
Hey. Oh, quiet start. The ropes, isn't it?
New York City don't. They just stop
Malcolm McLaren. He was a lucky chancer, wasn't he?
He was.
He was a lucky chancer.
That girl was a good singer, though.
Was there a girl singing in there? I missed that bit.
It was a good bit.
Oh,
No, I like this
she might
song.
come back. She might come back. Oh, her. Listen to how deep that voice is.
Wow.
Blimey.
Now that's talent.
Even that is talent. Even
I mean,
the
you've got a
fella on-
limited range of songs you can do, but
Hey, the Daily Express. Fury at MP's 10% pay rise.
are they getting that then for sure?
Yeah.
Oh, that was quiet, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hang on a second. It's not the final verdict. A storm broke out last night over a bumper 10% rise that would hike MPs' pay to £74,000 a year. We knew this. We knew this like 6 months ago.
We knew it was bubbling away.
The new head of the Quango, I don't know what a Quango is.
It's a non-governmental organisation, isn't it? But it,
Is it a what? What do you mean?
Well,
Is it a word that's made up? So the letters spell something?
a quasi-autocratic,
Right, well, I'll stop you there, because
non-governmental organisation.
where's the U? And why is it not done in capitals?
It should be a Kango.
Why is it not done in capitals?
Scoinsy.
Oh, no, don't, please. No,
Scoinsy.
we're all right.
Scoinsy.
We're all right. The new
Scoinsy.
No, don't. The new head of the Quango that sets common salary levels said MPs needed to catch up with other workers, vowing to press ahead with the controversial...
Quasi-autonomous,
Okay.
non-governmental organisation.
Where's the U?
I don't think it's got one in. It's one of those.
Vowing... Why is it not capitalised? Vowing... Anyway, listen, this is another great name. Vowing to press ahead with the controversial proposals... Martial Boo.
But big pardon?
Martial Boo.
Is that a name?
That's a
That sounds
name.
like a noise.
Martial Boo.
Martial, not Marcel.
Marcial.
Wow.
Possibly Marshall.
You're right.
What? Who?
Hi, Scoinsy.
Hi, mate.
No.
What's Quango mean?
Quango? It's like a... well...
No, it's not. What does it mean?
I'm saying quasi-autonomous, non-governmental
That is
organisation.
it. Yes, it's an acronym.
Where's the
Where's
U?
the U?
Well, you can't have a...
Why is it not capitalised?
Because it's an acronym.
Yeah, so it should be capitalised. Like laser. Should be.
Laser shouldn't be capitalised.
Yeah, yes, it should. Laser is an acronym.
What's up, Joe?
What? What on earth is going on up there? Is he gone? Good.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, flipping it. Go and look up laser is an acronym.
No, an acronym.
It's an acronym.
No, not an acronym.
It's an acronym.
No.
Laser
There's
is...
no knack.
I had my first ever pork pie yesterday. Right, Dealey and Scoins, get out. I know you're still there. Dealey! Gonna give him such a wallop. Laser is an acronym.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's an acronym.
Yeah, an acronym.
Not an acronym.
Kelly?
Oh.
What are you eating?
An orange.
Okay, laser's an acronym, isn't it?
I thought it was one of those like bright lights.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Anyway, there's fury at MP's 10% pay rise. I think it's a good idea. I think they deserve it.
Really?
Yeah, I do
no,
think
you
that...
don't. You're saying that to be...
No, I'm not saying it. Anyway, Martial Boo described the current £67,000 salary as a miserly amount. They're running the flipping country. Pay them well. They might only have a job for 4 years.
OK, pay them well, make sure they turn up. There's my addition to that.
But the thing is, they don't...
Bums on seats. No more...
They're busy.
Behave.
They're busy sorting stuff out in communities.
It looks like when they do turn up, they're having a bit of a laugh.
You know this makes sense, dear listener. 08459 455 555. MPs deserve their 10% pay rise. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Or you can get a secret scarf with an easy magnetic closure in the Daily Express.
Sakes.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading northbound. There's a lane closed at the moment on the exit Slip Road, just at junction 12 for Flitwick. There's a broken down lorry there causing some delays. Also on the M1 heading southbound, very slow moving at the moment between junction 10 at Luton Airport and junction 9 for Redbourne. The M25 starting to look quite busy heading anti-clockwise between junction 16 for the M40 and junction 15 for the M4. The Barnet bypass, that's starting to look heavy on camera heading southbound between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. So far, no reported problems or delays on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. 6:45. It's Monday, the 8th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Rules on who can drive taxis in Milton Keynes will be reviewed this evening. After it emerged a convicted rapist was given a licence. There are concerns about the high number of siblings being split up when placed in foster care. And it was victory at the Italian Grand Prix for Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton. We'll hear from Dealey in a bit. Let's get the weather first. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. A bit of a misty start for some this morning. Others have got away with it and it's bright and it's a really quiet day. In fact, a quiet week of weather as high pressure dominates this week. So plenty of fine and dry weather. Sunny spells this afternoon, in fact through this morning as well once the mist lifts, and it's going to feel pleasantly warm as well. We're looking at a maximum temperature of around 20, maybe even 21 Celsius. A similar night tonight as last night. The wind is light. It could get a little chilly in the rural spots. The minimum dipping down into single figures. Built up areas though staying in double figures, 12 or 13 Celsius. So we may see a bit of mist and fog develop by dawn tomorrow morning. And tomorrow's a similar sort of day, a chilly start, but then we'll get some sunny spells. The wind remains light and temperatures staying in the low 20s. And that's your forecast.
The BBC asks thousands of questions every day. Why are we being overrun by rats? What are the tingles we feel when listening to music? Can life exist above the clouds? But what if we want to know more? BBC I Wonder asks intriguing questions and reveals thought-provoking answers. As one question is answered, another is raised. The discoveries are endless. BBC I Wonder. Go to bbc.co.uk/I Wonder.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across a meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young. You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I wanna go and play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across a meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young. You make me feel so young.
Yeah.
You make me feel so
Okay. This bit's nice, the doop-a-doop-doo. Is that this?
I like those trumpets that sound like they've got sore throats.
The trumpets with the bowler hats in?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good, aren't they?
Sound like they need to cough.
My boy, my eldest boy, who came home on Saturday night, I'm creeping around the house because I got in late, 'cause big brother, And I thought, oh, everyone's asleep upstairs. Then there's a knock at the door, and I was genuinely a bit scared, and I opened it, and my 4-year-old was there. Hello, Dada.
Where have you been?
Party. What are you doing? And then, like, a minute later, his grandmother walked up.
Oh, right, okay.
But so we were talking on Saturday night in bed, because he got in bed with me, and it's very nice. And he said, can you buy me an instrument? Now, I'm all for getting the boys' instruments. I'm happy to get them little instruments, and if any of them stick, that's wonderful.
Yeah, you've got ukulele, now you've got the piano, locked piano.
He said, I want it. I said, what do you want? He said, I want bagpipes.
Wait.
Whoa. I said, I'm no way am I getting... Oh, God. He said, no way am I getting you bagpipes.
Is that a Greek thing?
No, I think I've worked out where it comes from. No. I said, is there anything else? He said, OK, I've got another idea. OK, what do you want? A trombone. I said, no. Anything else apart from bagpipes and trombone? He said, OK, how about a big bass drum? I said, no, it's not happening. And because he'd been at a party, I think I've worked out where he's got it from. I am the music man, I come from down your way and I can play. What can you play?
He thinks he can play them.
He thinks he can play them because he's walked around doing that. And I said, look, you've got a piano, you've got an electric guitar, you've got a ukulele, you've got some harmonicas.
They've got an electric guitar?
They got my first ever electric guitar.
Wow.
25-year-old Fender Squier, Korean copy, which they've got.
They've got enough then?
They've got enough. They've got enough, just, didn't they?
I think so, boss.
You all right, fella?
So. Yes, yourself? Good weekend?
It was all right weekend.
Lovely.
Well, they've worked out who Jack the Ripper was.
Have they?
Yeah. He was the fella that went around the East End of London killing prostitutes.
Right.
So they've worked that out.
It's a mystery. It will always be a mystery.
It's not a mystery. They've done the DNA test.
Catherine, tell us. Look, we've got the Ev.
I have found the Ripper from DNA on a shawl. A guy bought...
No, not you personally.
No, this is what this man's claiming. Russell Edwards. He bought a shawl at an auction and had the DNA tested on it, and they found that Aaron Kuzminski, a 23-year-old Polish immigrant who died in an asylum, was definitely, categorically and absolutely the man behind the grisly killing spree. Justin, so that's that sort of...
But there's a couple of things here, right? The first thing is this man bought this shawl. That's weird. And the second thing is the shawl, acting Sergeant Amos Simpson, who was on duty the night of the death, had taken the shawl for his wife. But horrified at the blood-soaked wrap, she never wore it. He gave her a bloody shawl. I'm not swearing. I'm being literal.
And I'm sure they stored it in absolute lab conditions.
Yes, I'm sure. Apparently, when he was alive, Jeremy Beadle was... he was one of the UK's leading Ripper experts.
And now that he's dead, where does he rank?
I don't know.
OK.
That's a very good point.
Now, Justin, we're going to talk to you later on about foie gras.
Yeah, interesting protest in Hertfordshire over the weekend. Very interesting protest.
I'm new to the world of meat, right? And this is the one where is it ducks?
No, geese.
It's geese that are force-fed. I'm new to the world of meat, OK? So I kind of think, well,
it all feels a bit cruel to you anyway.
It's all getting killed. So what does it matter?
It's a tricky one because you can't actually produce it in this country. So it's illegal to produce it in this country, but it's not illegal to sell it in this country.
And the problem is with the way it's manufactured. They force feed.
The way it's what?
Manufactured.
You said manufactured.
New words. Every day.
New words. That's an acronym. Wrapped in a riddle in a box.
Okay.
So how is it manufactured?
They force feed geese.
Right.
So I mean, it means paste made out of fat liver.
What, foie gras means that? No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's only two words.
Yeah, foie. Pâté de foie gras is called.
Anyway,
you stop with this though. You know, are you now going to go to protesters going to lobster restaurants? That's pretty cruel. People still eat that. If you're going to kill a
veal,
yeah, I mean,
I'd struggle with a lobster actually because you have to pick the one that's going to die. That's
I could
the thing.
Never, ever do that. But of course, every single living creature that you are eating, technically, it's cruel. And this restaurant in Hertfordshire, they have done absolutely nothing wrong. If you look at the legal book, if you say, so what? 7 protesters outside their pub. 2 police officers as well. People going into that pub over the weekend were handed out leaflets, and you'll hear that report before 8.
You say you've looked in your legal book. What legal book have you got, Just?
I've got the JD Legal Book Manual.
Isn't that the one you tore up?
Yeah, but it's kind of in pieces. If you put it together like a jigsaw, you can still read it.
Now, so we're going to talk about that later on. Your thoughts, please.
Also, the big tour. Tell us more.
Oh, tell us more about the big tour.
Yeah, Princess Risborough this week. It's 9 miles south of Aylesbury. Do you want me to get LVT on this one? local, vocal and topical.
Always.
Yeah, the cycling tour of Great Britain featuring teams from all over the world. That's going to be going through Prince's Risborough this Friday, featuring a certain Sir Bradley Wiggins.
Who's apparently a miserable old so-and-so.
He is, so I'm looking forward to meeting him on Friday, putting some questions to him. TV shows have been filmed there, including Jonathan Creek, Inspector Morse, Midsummer Murders, Famous Residents. Here's an interesting one. Can you guess this man? He doesn't like photographers, and he's had a few hit records, including I'm going deeper underground. Can you name it?
Is it Paul Weller?
No, it's not Paul Weller. He likes fast cars as well.
Oh, is that Jason Kay?
The fella with the hat.
J.K.
He's
from
tiny.
Jamiroquai.
He
He's
is
from
tiny.
Prince's Risborough.
Is he really?
How fantastic is that?
Well-
It's got one of the oldest roads in Britain, Icknield Way.
Okay.
Do you guys remember the Black Prince? 1343?
Yes, who had his honeymoon at Berkhamsted Castle. Controversially.
He had a gaff there in Prince's Risborough. It's now a car park. It's famous for the Cop Hill climb.
Right.
And also, if you like red kites, you will see them in Prince's Risborough.
Wow, gosh, OK. Well, that really was great stuff. So thank you for Home with the Big Tour.
Cheers.
Now, we've got 2 minutes. Catherine has got a story for you that we think you're going to like, Just.
Yeah, come on.
OK, with a blindfold covering his eyes and earplugs cancelling out almost all sound, Dr. Michel Berg sat in a state-of-the-art laboratory at the University of Strasbourg in northeastern France and began to think. Nearly 5,000 miles away at a research facility in the Indian city of Kerala, a young Spanish man called Dr. Alejandro Riera pulled on a tightly fitting hat, placed a laptop computer on a white table and also began to think. They've done an experiment and they reckon they can prove that telepathy exists.
How much more evidence do you need?
Well, some evidence.
Because you buy all this rubbish, don't you?
Absolutely, of course I do. I've proved that on various times with you.
Well,
no, I have.
You bought coffee when we've run out of coffee.
Okay. What
Guess what they thought to each other.
Go on.
The exchange was nothing if not brief. The duo shared just 2 words, the Spanish greeting hola and the Italian ciao.
Oh, for goodness sake. What are the chances?
Rubbish. I reckon, Ian, right now, and I could be wrong here, OK, and don't say I'm wrong just to kind of prove a silly point, I think you're thinking of bacon right now.
You're wrong.
No, you know I'm right.
No, you're wrong.
You know that I'm right.
I'm thinking that you're a massive plum.
I'm thinking of bacon now, though, now that you suggested it. Maybe it's me kicking back.
I don't understand why people are doing surveys and scientific experiments. We all know
we don't need
exists.
facts.
Ian, I can take this to the streets and prove it to you.
Take it to the streets, Justin. I look forward to your, in inverted commas, Ev.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, leave it to me.
See you later.
Thanks, bye.
Ta-ta. The thing I don't like about...
I bet I know what you're thinking now.
Yeah, I am a massive. What I don't like about Justin when we do these stories is the arrogance of the man.
Yeah, because he thinks, why have we got to go through this again?
Yeah.
We've already established the Ev.
We kind of teased up earlier on that we might do something like this. He said, look, I don't know how much more Ev I can give you guys. Like, he's proved the case categorically that special powers and psychic phenomena exist.
Oh, he is magic, though, isn't he?
A couple of things you can talk about. You can, if you want to talk about telepathy, I mean, yeah, sure. Or foie gras. Is it nice?
Don't know. I don't really like pate, but it wouldn't... if it was there, I'd eat it.
It's a pate, is it?
Yeah.
I don't really like pate.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Shipham's meat paste.
Yeah. Oh, I used to like a bit of meat paste in the little jars.
Filthy, though, isn't it?
08459 455 555. Thank you, Catherine.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, looking rather busy at the moment on the speed sensors between junction 14 for Milton Keynes and junction 13 for Bedford. And the M1 heading northbound, there's a lane closed at the moment on the exit slip road, just at junction 12 for Flitwick. There's a broken down lorry there. Having a look at the M25 heading anti-clockwise, starting to look quite slow between junction 21 for the M1 and junction 20 at Kings Langley. Also rather heavy anti-clockwise between junction 16 for the M40 and junction 15 the M4. The Barnet bypass looking heavy on camera between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. And just taking a look at the North Orbital Road in Bricketwood, that's looking very slow, just at junction 21A for the M25. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Paul Scoins is getting involved in the foie gras debate. It's not a pate, it's a slice of pure liver. And if anyone tells you it's not delicious, they're lying to you. Well, I don't know. Does it taste any good?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: a review of rules for Milton Keynes taxi drivers, siblings being split up when put into foster care, and a lead given to the Scottish Yes campaign for the first time.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Milton Keynes Council is expected to tighten its taxi licensing policy this evening. It follows widespread condemnation of councillors who gave a licence to a convicted rapist. Our political reporter Paul Scoynes reports.
Criticism has been directed at the former mayor of Milton Keynes, Subhan Shafiq, who personally vouched for a driver with a rape conviction and then had to resign as mayor. Councillors Gladstone Mackenzie and Stuart Burke, who were chair and vice chair of the licensing committee, have also stood down. The council is now reviewing its policy for licensing taxi drivers, and a full cabinet meeting this evening will aim to make the regulations clearer.
A fifth of children in the east of England are being separated from their siblings when placed into foster care. Action for Children says there's a shortage of people who can look after more than one child. Sue Atkinson-Milmore from the charity says splitting siblings up doesn't just affect them when they're young, but also their adult life as well.
We find it impacts on their ability to develop strong relationships, to get work, to have sort of a normal, healthy, emotional life.
Police in London searching for the missing teenager Alice Gross have arrested a second man on suspicion of murder. 14-year-old Alice was last seen 11 days ago. Police have arrested an 18-year-old man following 3 suspicious incidents in Princes Risborough. The man, who's from the town, was arrested on Saturday night. Iain Duncan reports.
A member of staff at a home in Princess Risborough saw a man in a resident's room, and when she told him to leave, he climbed out of a window and ran away. Shortly after this, a resident in Woodfield Road saw a man standing on some scaffolding and called police as he was acting suspiciously. And a woman in her 30s was walking with a friend on Wickham Road when a man exposed himself to them. Police say the offender is white, slim, in his late teens to early 20s, with dark hair, and was wearing a dark-coloured hoodie.
With only 10 days to go to the Scottish referendum, one poll has put the Yes camp in the lead for the first time. The Labour leader, Ed Miliband, says extra power should be given to the Edinburgh Parliament if they decide to stay in the UK. Professor John Curtis from the University of Strathclyde says the issue of which campaign has the more credible arguments is crucial.
I think the No side need to realise that they are approaching something of a crisis of credibility. We're now in a position where 51% of people say they do not believe what the No side say about the currency, and that number has kept on increasing the more the No side have insisted that they are not bluffing.
In sport, Lewis Hamilton claimed his 6th victory of the Formula One season after winning the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And the weather will be misty at first, but staying dry and mostly sunny. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, that's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
Pretty little market town in the middle of the Chiltern Hills.
Exploring where you live.
You've got more or less all the shops you need for a weekly basis.
And you had a very strong sense of the place.
All this week, we're discovering Princes Risborough.
You keep finding new places and new views. Even just driving about, you get surprises.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning! This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Coming up, we'll be talking about a taxi crackdown in Milton Keynes. What's the fuss over foie gras? And do you believe in telepathy? Of course you don't. You're sensible. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kath.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a number.
Mm-hmm.
What number is it?
1.
Yeah, fair play. You got that one right.
Well, you did signal.
Kels?
I'm thinking of a word.
Yep.
I'm going to put it in your head now.
Oh, it's a rude one.
No. Guys?
Is it guys?
No.
Oh. Plum?
No.
Septuagenarian?
I'm really trying to put it in there.
All right, let's just do it properly then.
Okay.
Let me move out the way.
Is it grunt?
No.
Oh. Well,
Let's try again. Shall I give you a clue? Would that be easier?
Well, if you give me a clue, that's not telepathy, that's guessing.
One of the listeners is getting it right now.
One of the... OK, listeners, Kelly, send it out to the listeners.
Oh. Trying really hard.
08459 455 555. What was the word? And you could win £1 million a week for life. Well,
somewhere else.
So, yeah, not here. Ah, dear, we'll also put it on Facebook. Not her psychic thought, that'd be weird. Facebook.com/BBC3CR.
It works over Facebook. I've seen some people who make money out of doing that sort of stuff.
They're called con men.
Oh.
A week after it emerged, Milton Keynes Council allowed a serial rapist to drive a taxi. Officials will meet to tighten up licensing rules tonight. The driver in question has handed in his badge, but another 5 cabbies with convictions are still on the road. We can speak now to Rosemary Smith, who chairs Fenny Stratford Residents Association. She isn't speaking on the association's behalf, but will hope to have her say at this evening's cabinet meeting. Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning.
Rosemary, what was your reaction when you first heard about these issues?
Well, I was shocked and horrified, like I would imagine a lot of other residents of Milton Keynes are. I mean, it was just... it's appalling that the safety of the residents have been put at risk. A lot of people put their children into taxis, and now, obviously, the bona fide taxi firms, everyone's going to be thinking, well, you know, should I be using taxis at all? And I do understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can remember years ago people being told never to hail or to get into a private cab that stops, always hail a hackney. And as I understand it, this guy had a hackney licence too.
Do you, have the councillors done enough by quitting their posts on the licensing boards, or do you think they should stand down as councillors altogether?
I think they should stand down, Ian, personally, because, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that this is a witch hunt or anybody wanting revenge, but, you know, the residents do have a right to be allowed to decide as a democratic situation. And I understand quite rightly that by-elections do cost money. But I can't see that the safety of the residents of Milton Keynes is anything other than priceless. And the trust in their councillors is paramount to people that are putting them, the residents that are putting them into power.
Do you think that these decisions made to give licences to these people it has brought perhaps some of the other councils' decisions into question?
Of course, yes. I mean, you know, and I'm not saying that their decisions are questionable, but it does make you think, well, you know, if this appalling situation has been allowed to happen, then what else is going to come out?
They're talking about tightening up the licensing regulations. Is that going to be enough, do you think, Rosemary?
I think it will be enough, providing that people can see it in a clear and transparent way, which obviously this situation wasn't. Now, I'm not saying that there was any form of corruption gone on, but there was certainly negligence, if not complete stupidity, over allowing this to happen. But tightening up of regulations, yes, is important, obviously, but it depends how tight they become.
What will you say if you get a chance to speak at tonight's meeting?
Well, that type of thing, and a few other issues as well. So that where these two of the particular councillors have been involved on other committees, making other decisions, which, you know, I feel that I have the right to say, well, I'm sorry, but that decision was not acceptable because of the decision that you took on the licensing committee.
So ultimately you think that Gladstone Mackenzie, Stuart Burt, the two councillors involved, and also Subhan Shafiq, who was the former mayor, you think they should stand down? Their positions are untenable?
Yes, I do. I do think their positions are untenable. And if if they think that their positions aren't, give the public the opportunity to vote and see how popular they are. If they stand down, call a by-election, and then we'll see. And if they are voted back in, then obviously the general public think they're okay.
Rosemary, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much. That's Rosemary Smith.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number should you wish to give us a call. So foie gras We're having a little chat about it later on in the show, but there was a protest outside. It was a pub, wasn't it?
Yes.
Last night. I think 6 protesters who were upset that this pub was serving foie gras.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing where you've got... Is it a baby goose?
Don't think so.
And their heads are forced upwards and they're force-fed constantly.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that doesn't sound particularly pleasant, but... All animals, when you eat them, hey, guess what, guys? They've been killed with a bolt through their head, possibly even having their throat slit, depending on where you are eating.
But also, there's a big thing at the moment about how they're treated before that moment happens. I mean, no one's denying that they've got to go.
Yeah.
But it's how they go. And in this case, we're talking about a tube being inserted and the goose being fed to the point where their internal organs swell up.
Wowzers.
That fat liver is what they're after.
It's in kind of the whole ethics of does it really matter if the animal has a good life if they're going to be killed anyway?
Does it make you feel a bit better when you're chewing on them?
One of the most horrific things in my life, and this is partly spurred me to become a vegetarian a few years later. I remember being 6 or 7, and we were on holiday in Cornwall. We were staying on a caravan on a farm, right? And one morning the farmer said to me and my sister, who was 9, do you want to come and see the chickens? We're like, yeah, totes want to go and see the chickens. Totally!
I bet you can still smell it.
Man alive, it was a battery farm.
Oh.
It was I mean, I've probably made it bigger in my head, but I remember he opened this door into this huge barn, just thousands upon... Well, you should be apologising to us as well. Thousands upon thousands of chickens in these tiny little boxes. It was horrific.
Do you know what does it for me? Scabby legs.
Yeah, pigeons' legs.
They're all squashed in on themselves and they kind of defecate on themselves and stuff. No,
all right, mate.
You don't like to think of your chickens like that. You like
to think of bring defecation into it.
Because that's what happens.
But why did you bring it? It's 7:10 in the morning. What are you bringing defecation into it for?
They get burns on their legs because of it.
Mate!
You want them running free.
I don't want any mention of defecation on my show at 7:10 in the morning.
I could have been more specific.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, dearie me. Ian's on the M1. Morning, Ian.
Hello, Ian. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. What you got for us, boss?
I've got some good news for you. I've got you a new listener.
Who you got?
One of my colleagues from work, he's on his way to Milton Keynes Hospital. I've told him to tune into your breakfast show because it's absolutely superb.
What's his name?
His name's Andrew Hollingsworth. You give him a shout out, that'll be top.
Well, now, listen, we don't do shout-outs normally, Ian, but I'm so embarrassed that he'll have tuned in to hear producer Kath banging on about defecation.
Hey, it's biology.
Yeah, I know, but we've got a new listener, and I don't want him to think that this whole show is poo-based.
Well, not the whole thing, but there is a large quotient.
Andrew Hollingsworth?
That's the one. He's known as Rizzo.
Rizzo?
Rizzo, he looks like a big grizzly bear.
Rizzo won't mind.
Well, all right, I'm not going to do any more shout-outs and big-ups, but Rizzo, I'm glad you're listening to the show, and I'm sorry that you had to hear about Catherine Bird's defecating. Would that be all right, Ian?
Thank you very much.
Good lad, thank you very much indeed.
Never explain, never apologise.
I have to for you, mate.
No, you don't.
I feel I do.
Nah,
really, because if we've got new listeners, they tune in, and the first thing they hear is, well, and it defecates. Oh, for goodness sakes.
We're talking animal welfare. Defecation's a big part.
No, mate, honestly, you're doing it again. I am really trying. I've been thinking about this at the weekend.
Really?
We've got very low standards on this show, I've decided. Yeah, and I'm going to raise them.
You're going to raise them?
Yes, I am.
OK, I look forward to seeing that.
Well, I'm doing it now by
flipping it on me.
I'm not...
When it's normally you.
I am raising them now by giving you a good...
Oh, this is that Philip thingy again, isn't it?
What?
The reason I went on gardening leave. You're trying to do this to me again.
No, don't bring that up, for goodness sakes. They'll have their poison pens out. No, all I'm saying is... that I'm raising the standards, and I'm doing that by saying I don't want you talking about birds plopping on each other.
Oh, you make yourself look really good by doing that.
Yeah, I know I do.
You're just gutted you didn't bring it up.
I don't want to bring up defecation.
You keep saying it.
Could you... Right, well, that's the last time... Defecation, that's the last time we say it. Finished it. Full stop. No more defecation. Full stop there.
Stop it, then.
Then you don't. Do it.
I mean, you don't do it.
You have to, otherwise you'd be ill.
Yeah, but not...
Right, OK.
And...
Scene. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number should you wish to give us a call. And apologies, I know we've got young people being driven to school and all kinds of things. This isn't the sort of filth you expect from BBC Local Radio. You expect stories about, I don't know, chainsaws and cats and stuff like that instead of the nonsense we've been coming out with. Onwards and upwards.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading northbound, there's a lane closed at the moment on the exit slip road, just at junction 12 for Flitwick. There's a broken down lorry there causing delays. Also, the M25 heading anti-clockwise, there's a lane closed between junction 25 for Enfield and junction 24 at Potter's Bar. There's a broken down vehicle there. Also anti-clockwise in the M25, rather heavy moving between junction 21A for St Albans and junction 20 for Kings Langley. And the Barnet bypass, rather slow moving between the Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. Right, where are we? 7:15. It's Monday the 8th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Rules on who can drive taxis in Milton Keynes will be reviewed this evening after it emerged a convicted rapist was given a licence. There's concern about the high number of siblings being split up when being placed in foster care. And it was victory at the Italian Grand Prix for Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton. Yay, Lewis.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday from 3, Roberto Perrone.
Are league tables the best way to judge a school? Pal, do you have any sympathy for the Buckinghamshire golfer Iain Poulter? Police are issuing safety advice to women in Watford, but I'm fascinated by the age gap between her and her husband. Figures show that around £500,000 was spent in Hertfordshire last year clearing up after people who dump rubbish. Then you just ate them.
Roberto Perrone.
There's been an extraordinary reaction on social media. My big concern is that no one ever worries about the victims. The whole system is designed to help the criminal.
Roberto Perrone. Weekdays from 3, BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
If you've ever eaten foie gras, do give me a call and let me know, A, was it nice? And B, were you not slightly concerned about the farming practices that go into it? That it's perceived as being cruel. It's interesting. I'm interested. Coming at this from someone who hasn't eaten meat for 25 years and is now diving in headfirst to the wonderful world of anything that had a face, I will eat. I don't quite know whether I think this is that cruel or not. 08459 455 555. And also, if you've had any telepathic psychic experiences, please share them with us. Now, a leading children's charity is urging more of us to consider becoming foster parents in order to keep vulnerable brothers and sisters together. Action for Children has found a fifth of children in the east of England have been separated from their siblings when placed in temporary care in the last financial year. Well, let's hope more people will follow Elaine Sturman's lead. She's a foster carer from Aylesbury and joins me now on the line. Morning, Elaine.
Good morning.
Elaine, what made you decide to foster?
I've always wanted to do it. I always went around with foster children when I was at school. My children went around with children from children's homes. So we knew that, like, some of the problems they had and everything else. And it was just something I always wanted to do.
How easy was it for you once you made the decision to do it? How long does it take before you get your first kids?
It actually took about a year.
Right.
But obviously you've got to go through rigorous... your CRB check and everything else. They have to go into all your family background and all that sort of thing.
And you've looked after siblings, have you, Elaine?
Yes, I've got siblings now.
OK, and obviously I don't want you to tell us too much about them, but what kind of backgrounds do these kids come from, and how important do you think it is for siblings to be kept together?
Well, all siblings come from very diverse backgrounds, but it is very, very important to keep them together. It helps with all sorts of things, especially the trauma of coming into care. If they're together, it eases that. That, they're there to support each other and everything else like that. But if they're separated, that makes that trauma much, much worse.
What kind of ages are they?
The ones I have are 14 and 16.
OK, so it's significant for them that they stay together. It kind of makes what must be a fairly traumatic experience. It makes it easier for them to deal with.
Oh yes. I mean, they share memories, experiences, boundaries, activities, opportunities, everything they do together. And when they're talking now about, when they leave care eventually, they do talk as if they intend to stay together. I mean, I can't be 100% sure on that, but they talk as if they've planned on staying together. You know, they've got this bond.
Elaine, how long do people normally stay with you for?
I have these long term. I've had them nearly 9 years.
Oh, blimey. So that is long term, yeah. And when they come to you, when you get new foster kids and they come to you, how long does it take for them to settle down? I imagine it is quite a period of readjustment and them learning to trust you. How long does that normally take?
It depends on the children and the circumstances in which they've come from. These ones, it didn't take that long to settle down. But that's probably because they were together.
Yeah.
Because when they come into care, if there is siblings, they feel as if they've lost everything because they've lost their parents. They've had the parents taken away. To take away the siblings as well makes it that much harder. And they must feel as if it's their fault.
I didn't know you could foster the same young people for that length of time. I'm surprised by that. Is that common?
These were short-term emergency, and then I put in to keep them long-term. And they were doing so well and everything else. You know, it went to panel and we was accepted for long-term foster carers.
And how does it work in your head, Elaine? Does it feel like they're your kids? Do you kind of feel you've all but adopted them? Or is there kind of a separation between you and them?
To me and my husband, they are like our children, although there are rules and regulations, you know, certain things that you can and can't do, because obviously they still have parents at the end of the day. But, yeah, to us, they're ours.
Yeah.
They're treated as family, as if they were our own.
Yeah. Are you surprised that there are so many siblings being separated?
I am very surprised.
It does seem pretty obvious, actually, doesn't it? That if you want that what must be, at the very least, an unpleasant experience, probably quite traumatic for these young people, it seems pretty obvious that to make that transition better, you want to keep brothers and sisters together.
That's it. I mean, it must be, coming into care must be like losing a couple of arms and legs.
Yeah.
But to lose the siblings as well must be that added along with your eyes and your ears.
Oh, blimey.
Well, to me, that's how it comes across to me.
I've got to ask you, Elaine, you know, like the first night when you get new kids, right, and I'm assuming you kind of sit down and you have dinner and you go, I'm Elaine, and is the first night really awkward?
It may be different for other people from us. I mean, it was Christmas, which helped.
Okay.
Because we had lots of Christmas lights up and things like that. So, come and see my Christmas lights when they got out of the car.
Yeah.
And faces lit up at the Christmas lights, and then we went shopping and we...
So you've at that time of year, I guess it would make it easier because you've got lots of fun things to talk about.
It was Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. You won an award, didn't you, Elaine?
Just a 10-year fostering award.
You say just a 10-year fostering award as though that's as though everybody's got one of those. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's not about that to us.
What is it about? Why do you do it?
Because we love children and we want to make a difference. And it's so rewarding just seeing the children change and, you know, grow up, and it's just so rewarding in that way.
And how did you get in touch with the local council? How did you do it, Elaine? You don't remember, do you? It was so long ago now.
I can't remember.
But that would be a good place to start, I would imagine, if people are kind of listening to this thinking, well, you know, maybe I'll have a little look into it, that the local council will certainly point them in the right direction.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Elaine...
It's advertised in, you know, newspapers and on the television and everywhere else and that.
Elaine, it sounds like you're doing a cracking job.
Thank you.
Are they off to school today?
Yes, they are. Two of them go back to school today.
Are they up? Are they ready?
Oh, yeah.
Good, well, good. No, keep it nice and strict. Elaine, listen, thanks for your time and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. That's Elaine Sturman, who sounds like she's doing cracking work.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
When When do the Scots get this nonsense over with?
I think it's next Thursday.
Oh, flip it. Flip it. I'm bored of it now.
Did you see Alex Salmon's eye cupcakes?
Aye, you'll have a cupcake. Aye, we're going to separate from England, aye, and they're not going to get our gas, but we're going to keep the pound. I gotta keep the pound, wee laddie.
Wow, you can really tell you've got Scottish roots.
So Grandad, isn't it? I'm invoking the powers of Grandad Jock there.
Aye, wee laddie, we're going to keep the pound.
You actually called him that?
That was his name, Grandad Jock.
Was his name Jock?
I don't know what his real name was.
Oh.
My nan was Nanny Peg. Mm-hmm. I only found out recently that Peg is possibly short for Margaret.
Margaret, yeah.
She wasn't Scottish. And Grandad Jock would get drunk. And he had a really strong Aberdeen accent, which I struggled to understand. And then when he was drunk, I couldn't have and I'd sit there as a little boy, just really scared because I couldn't understand him.
Oh.
Aye, what he wasn't saying was, aye, laddie, we're going to keep the pound and we're going to get the wee Sassanacs out of the country.
Hey? Oh.
We're going to kick him out. Kick him out of the country, but we're going to keep the pound. And you nae getting none of our gas, you wee Sassanacs.
Apparently they're going to put guards on the border. Really?
Guards on that. It's so
Would
that's
you miss Scotland?
Sorry?
Would you miss it if it were to go?
Well, it's not going. It's not. They're not going to cut it off and float it away.
What they're saying is we're definitely no relation of yours.
We're no relation of yours, laddie. Get out.
No, I won't miss them. I mean, I like Scotland. I'll still go if I need to.
Yeah, I mean, it feels separate to me anyway.
Yeah, when they vote to stay in the union, which they will do.
You reckon?
Yeah, of course they will. They're not stupid.
Because, well, they are going to they've been promised dangled carrots, haven't they?
Yep.
Ring fencing their their education, stuff like that.
If
they get a really good deal on education.
Yeah, of course they do.
Prescriptions.
Yeah. When they vote to stay in, England should then have a vote and vote them out.
Oh.
That's what we should do.
Yeah, well, what you don't know is we dumped you last week.
Yeah, exactly. That would teach. I'm getting bored of this. Next Thursday, is it?
Yep.
Okay, right, so we've got another week and a half of boring coverage of that rubbish, and then once we give them a good boot up the backside, teach them a lesson, tame those wild beasts, then they'll...
Wow, you really are doing your bit for the No campaign, aren't you?
I'm more than happy to go up there, guys, and sort them out.
You're doing the bye-bye, don't let the door hit you on the bum of the way out.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I will... Pat's in Houghton Regis. Morning, Pat.
Good morning, Ian.
You bored of all this Scottish nonsense?
Too right, I'm bored of it. I mean, they're a bigger whinger than I am in Scotland.
Wow, that is saying something, Pat.
It is. I thought it would be this morning. I am just absolutely fed up, I think, like you, Ian, that they get the free care for the elderly, free tuition fees. I mean, we get a lot of free things, and what do the politicians do for us in England? Why are we being ignored for all these free benefits that people are getting in other countries? Or other parts of the UK.
You've introduced an interesting phone-in that I'm more than happy to go with. Catherine, you whispered in my ear.
What have the Scots ever done for us?
08459 455 555.
Shortbread.
Shortbread, the Crankies.
You can't give him tartan because that was actually the Irish.
Yeah. So not a lot, Pat.
Not a lot at all. I'm just... I'll tell you what, if they vote yes in Scotland, they can vote yes to losing quite a lot of things, I reckon.
They're going to lose your support.
They're going to lose subsidies, aren't they? I mean, we're actually paying for what they're getting at the moment, but I want to know what our MPs are doing for people in England. What are we getting here in England?
Pat, listen, actually quite a bit, but we haven't got time to go into that.
You reckon?
I thought I faded you off. I faded the wrong one. Sorry, Pat. Yes, now he's gone.
Spiteri.
Thank you, Pat.
Spiteri.
So this
Corbett.
Okay. Thank you for that. He's introduced an interesting subject. What have Scotland ever done for us? So we've got Spiteri, Charlene. Corbett, Ronald.
Way.
Lulu.
Oh, no, I just forgot. Yeah, Lulu.
Shortbread. And the Crankies.
And funny swearing from Mr. Billy Connolly.
Oh, it's funny. I'm Billy Connolly and I was wearing a big slipper and it was funny.
Fair play. Can we keep him?
08459. I think America's got him now. 08459 455 555. What have the Scots ever done for us?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, looking quite slow on the speed sensors between junction 14 for Milton Keynes and junction 13 for Bedford. The A1M, that's starting to look quite heavy heading southbound just around junction 2 for Welham Green. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, looking rather slow between junction 25 for Enfield and junction 24 for Potters Bar. That's following an earlier broken down vehicle there, just getting in that all lanes have now been reopened. Having a look at the Barnet bypass on camera, and that's looking quite heavy heading southbound between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. I see that World Literacy Day is trending on Twitter. The campaign being, take 10 minutes to read to the children in your life. Hang on a second. Should a hashtag really be promoting you reading to your kids? And 10 minutes? Is that all, you slackers?
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: Milton Keynes Council is reviewing its taxi licensing policy this evening. It follows widespread condemnation of councillors who approved a licence for a convicted rapist. A fifth of children in the east of England are being separated from their siblings when placed into foster care. The charity Action for Children says it's because there aren't enough people who can look after more than one child. Police in London searching for the missing teenager Alice Gross have arrested a second man on suspicion of murder. 14-year-old Alice was last seen 11 days ago. And the weather will be misty at first but staying dry and mostly sunny. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, that's 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lewis Hamilton claimed his sixth victory of the season after winning the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. He says he was delighted to overcome losing the lead to his teammate Nico Rosberg at the start of the race.
A great day. I'm so happy that I was able to pull that off, especially with all the difficulties at the start. Overall, it's a good win for the team. It's a good win for my mechanics, my engineers, and for me. And I just got to try my hardest to keep bringing it like that.
In tennis, Serena Williams beat Caroline Wozniacki in straight sets to win her 6th US Open and 18th Grand Slam title.
Pushed long and deep by Wozniacki, plays another backhand standing inside the baseline, but she drifts long. And Serena Williams falls to the floor. She is flat on her back. The defending champion and world number one has claimed her 18th Grand Slam title. She joins illustrious company with Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert.
Luton Town are still waiting for their first home league win of the season after losing 1-0 to Plymouth. Wycombe Wanderers remain fifth in League 2 after a 0-0 draw with Bury. Stevenage lost 3-2 at home against York, and after Andy Bond was sent off, manager Graham Westley says improvements on the pitch need to be made.
We are making some silly mistakes at the moment. There's a little bit of confusion here or confusion there, and we don't quite do the right thing in the right situation. I want the player who's going to play with conviction. So they're learning, they're improving, they're developing. This will be a good side, but the learning has got to stop, and the delivering has got to start sooner rather than later for the season to be a success, but we'll get there.
England begin their Euro 2016 qualifying campaign against Switzerland tonight. They'll be without the injured Daniel Sturridge, but manager Roy Hodgson says they're capable of getting a win.
I'm very satisfied with the group of players that I have to choose the team from, and I'm quite confident that whatever team I put on the field, I won't be let down, or we won't be let down by the players, and A, their understanding of their job, and B, their desire to do it.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 8 o'clock.
I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. And I don't like it very much. Oh no, he swallowed my toe, he swallowed my toe. Oh gee, he's up to my knee, he's up to my knee. Oh fiddle, he's reached my middle, he's reached my middle. Oh heck, he's up to my neck, he's up to my neck. Oh dread, he swallowed my...
I've only just got it.
Well,
because she's supposed to be saying head.
Yeah.
but she can't say head.
Why?
Because the boa constrictor has swallowed it.
Yeah.
That makes that song even more brilliant. That song was written by a gentleman called Shel Silverstein. Do you know what else he wrote?
No.
Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's busy, too busy to come to the phone. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's very too busy to come to the phone. And Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's busy, too busy to come to the phone. And the operator says 30 cents more for the next 3 minutes, please. Right, that one.
Oh, did he?
I can't remember what it's called.
Some hurtful stuff on Twitter.
Hey, whoa, guys!
Linda says, so is at 3CR Kate the new Dave Luton #manufactured? Listen, just because I'm speaking medieval English.
They spelt manufactured wrong.
Oh.
Also wrote Boy Named Sue as well.
Did he?
Yeah. He's good, Shel Silverstein. He also wrote Carry Me Carry, which is another great song. So, 2 very quick things. Spotted and 08459 455 555. It's World Literacy Day. The reason I'm fingering the papers is I noticed it's in one of the papers and I can't remember which one. And it's a big picture of David Walliams basically saying, hey guys, it's World Literacy Day.
I've written some kids' books.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But read to your kids for 10 minutes a day.
Right.
Hang on,
though, you must admit that there are some books, it gets to the end of the day and you think, I'm not reading that, it's too long.
Here we go. Read 10 minutes a day, says David Walliams, right? No, if you're not reading, at least you should be reading half an hour to your day, and you shouldn't need a silly campaign to encourage you to do it. If you're not reading to your kids half an hour a day, not all in one chunk...
Can I tell you something tragic?
Then shame on you, parents, shame on you.
I used to read to my bump.
It's not tragic. I used to read to my bump. No, hang on, my kids as well.
Yeah.
I used to sing to them.
Yeah.
Used to sing. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's busy, too busy to come to the phone.
Wow, and they still came out.
Yeah, they did. If you're not reading to your kids half an hour a day, shame on you. You're a bad parent.
Although, if you want to read a bit of Enid Blyton, you can normally knock it out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, but then you go and read another book. My boys the other day, we turned off the telly. I said, right, boys, go and get me some books. Let's read. Let's read. Go and get me some books. And we sat there and we read, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
So shame on you if you're not doing it. Also, what have Scotland ever done for us?
Suggestion from Scott Belks.
Oh, yeah, go
on the Twitter. Scabby legs.
No, I think that was reference to the chickens.
Oh, right.
No, he sent me a load of Scottish bands that I'm not really that bothered about.
Dave T says, if Scotland says yes, can they take Rod Stewart back with them? No, because he's not actually a Scotsman, is he?
He's from the East End.
Just pretend.
He's a pretend jock. Plastic jock.
Yeah.
Plastic jock. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll stick with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Colin's in Dunstable. Good morning, Colin.
Good morning.
Were you swallowing something there?
Oh, constrictor.
Yes, a little drop of water.
A little drop of water?
Yep.
At 7:37?
Yes.
Didn't work, did it?
No.
What have you got for us, Col?
As you know, I am ambassador for Dunstable.
Yes. Oh, yes. You're clinging on to that.
And you realise what? Do you remember why?
What was mixed with that water, Colin? Was it a hefty amount of Jack Daniels?
No.
No. You just woken up?
Well, about an hour.
You sound... Permission to speak freely, sir?
Yeah, go on.
You sound awful.
He sounds like a growling cougar.
Not the good kind.
Anyway, the whole reason was that I was made ambassador for Dunstable was because of the state of Court Drive, these shared crossings.
Yes?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I can report back today that one of the crossings out of the 3 is now in operation as a normal zebra crossing.
It's a zebra crossing! So your work as ambassador, Colin, is done. Are you suggesting you stand down?
Of course not.
There's more work to be done, is there?
Oh, yes.
What other work needs to be done in Dunstable, mate?
I'm not sure.
2 more crossings?
Well, the other 2 are being... Well, one of them's being attended to. The third one, they haven't started yet.
Colin, I've got a great idea. You know we're moving to Dunstable in February.
Oh, are you?
Surely it should have been flagged up with your people immediately.
No, it wasn't.
Right. In February, we're moving to Dunstable.
Who's we?
Station.
The whole radio station, yeah.
Really?
Kelly, you're coming, aren't you?
I don't know, I might.
Yeah.
Oh, of course
Busy.
you are, Kels.
Well, I don't know Dunstable that well, Colin.
Right.
So when we move there in February, would you take me on a little guided tour of Dunstable, and we can record it for the radio?
Of course I will.
Beautiful. You go set up an ambassadorial visit with the ambassador.
Who's going to listen to that?
Well, the listeners.
Kelly, how dare you?
I didn't realise he was still there.
Yeah, he's still there.
Oh, you've gone down in my estimation.
What have the Scots ever given us, Colin?
Haggis.
Oh, I do like a bit of haggis.
Oh, so do I.
I do like a bit of haggis.
And those Scotch pies. Oh, lovely.
I've never had a Scotch pie. Do you mean a Scotch egg?
No. They're minced meat.
Do you know what? I always get the trots when I eat mince meat.
With a sort of pastry case over
That's
it.
a pie, yeah?
Yeah.
That'll be a pie.
Gosh, he sounds like a Marks and Spencer's ad, doesn't he?
Colin, thank you very much indeed.
What is it with mincemeat? My first daughter is mostly made out of Scotch egg.
Yeah, I've not had do you know what? I've not had a Scotch egg for years.
A bit of mayonnaise.
Yeah, I'm going to have a Scotch egg. You can get them in petrol stations,
You
can't
give
you?
them packs of 2. I'll go 2's up.
For a Scotch egg?
Mm. Hey, do you want some Texas?
Wait, I've got a Scotch egg story that I'd like to join in with.
Um,
I had one that had runny yolk.
Oh.
It's proper.
Catherine, you're Texas. And by the way, Paul Scoins is sending me loads of things that Scotland we have to thank for, including the dugout in football.
Oh.
Mate, really? Grow up.
Barry says, Lulu spent her formative years in Welwyn Garden City. My mother used to play with her as a kid, so stuff that up your Scottish kilt.
Lulu's off the list.
If Scotland gets independence, will all its free benefits and all the illegals will rush through England and Berwick-on-Tweed will be the new Sangat. Iron brew and haggis will get more expensive, says Matt in Hanslope.
Yeah.
The Seer of Doom. Tony says, don't forget the Scots kiss. That's what they gave us.
Headbutt.
Yeah, Glasgow kiss.
Yeah, you see, it's a very aggressive nation. They are, by definition, aggressive people.
Well, that's the image, isn't it?
That is the image that see you, Jimmy.
But isn't that just because the way they speak when they get going can sound a little bit like a
I could
machine gun?
I could never marry a Scottish lass or an Irish lass.
Oh, I could.
No, what? Really?
Lass.
You can now. It's legal. But no, I couldn't do that. I'm afraid their
I think
accent.
it's beautiful, and I love the Celtic melancholy.
I could marry a Welsh girl.
Oh,
I like a little bit of Welsh. That accent, sing to me to sleep, my darling. But the Scottish accent and the Irish accent, I'll always be worried they're going to punch me.
what? The Irish accent's beautiful.
No, mate, no.
What are you talking about?
It's annoying. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine for a little while, but beyond that, no, it's annoying. I think.
Wow.
As is the northern accent.
Massive bigot.
I'm a massive what?
Yeah. Good morning. Can you ask what the Scots do for us? Whilst having the benefits we don't, they also sit in Parliament and vote on our policies on what we can and can't have. I don't know why they need independence. They have it already, says Debbie. And Steve, a word of warning. Steve says, if you raise the standards, I'm turning off Stephen St Albans.
Well, I just think it's time. I think it's time that although I did just say that mincemeat gives me the trots.
Yeah.
Which it does. I found some mincemeat the other day and ate it, and I instantly regretted it.
Where did you find it?
Oh, it was in a pan at home.
Yeah, a pan at room temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
How long had it been out?
I got in quite late at night.
Okay, I'm no doctor.
Well, I don't know the rules about meat. This is the thing. I don't know the rules about meat. It had been cooked. The boys had probably had it about 5. I was eating it about 10.
Right. Cooked. Cool it down. Wait till it's cool. Put it in the fridge. Then you reheat it thoroughly afterwards. And then proceed with caution.
Okay.
For heaven's sake.
Thanks very much for
What are
your
you
tips.
doing?
Have we had any... Just is out getting some telepathic Ev, isn't he? He's been quite quiet, because normally he'll be banging on gloating that he's got loads of Ev and stuff.
Maybe he is, but he's doing it through the power of his tiny mind.
Oh, dear.
Did you hear a whisper?
You know dinosaurs had tiny brains. I suspect that Justin is part dinosaur. I just imagine that there's there's a pea in there. I don't know why. Oh, look at you biting your tongue so that he doesn't have a go at you off air.
He won't have a go at me.
He won't know how to. He'll forget it in a minute. Oh, wait, 459.
Oh, hang on a minute. I'm getting something coming through.
What's he saying?
Telepathically.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say that.
No, exactly. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. It's a busy show. What have the Scots ever done for us? So far, we've got Charlene Spiteri, Ronnie Corbett, Shortbread and the Crankies. Lulu has been struck off the list. She ain't Scottish, it turns out. She's a Cockney Londoner. 08459 455 555. And telepathic stories, please. Come on, we all know it's a load of old guff. Scientists reckon they have proved it. They have proved it. That's nonsense.
We got something through on fostering as well. You know, they're talking about a fifth of foster children have been separated from their siblings over the last year. We've got a message here from Judy in Milton Keynes. It says, I'm listening to the show with interest regarding that article. I'm a foster carer with an empty double room, and it's been empty for nearly a year.
Oh.
That's Judy in Milton Keynes. What's going on?
I couldn't do it. I
think I could do it once my children have left the nest.
Yeah.
Although I'd want to adopt. I don't think I could do it on a temporary basis.
That'll be the thing, wouldn't it? That'll be the thing. 08459 455 555. And coming up, foie gras. What's the fuss?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, looking quite busy on the speed sensors just around junction 11 for Dunstable Road. Having a look at the M1 heading southbound as well, it's looking quite heavy between junction 10 at Luton Airport and junction 9 at Redbourne. The A1M heavy moving just around junction 2 for Welham Green, and the M25 looking heavy heading anti-clockwise between junction 25 for Enfield and junction 24 for Potters Bar. That was following an earlier broken down vehicle there. The North Orbital Road, that's queuing at the moment just at junction 21A for the M25, and the Barnet Bypass looking heavy between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you. 7:46, it's BBC Three Counties Radio. These are your headlines. My name's Iain Lee. Milton Keynes Council will today review its taxi policies after it emerged a convicted rapist was given a licence. There's been a rise in the number of children being split up from their siblings when being placed into foster care. And Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton done won a car race. He went fast round the corners and he didn't crash.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. A chilly start for some of us this morning. Temperatures ranging somewhere between 5 and 10 Celsius. So for some parts, it's really the more rural spots. It is quite cold this morning. Bit of mist and fog, but that's lifting gradually, and then the sun will appear. Some of us have got that already. It's going to continue through the course of the day. We may see a bit more cloud this afternoon, but it's still going to feel warm. We're looking at a maximum temperature of 20 Celsius. Overnight tonight, clearing skies. The wind is light as well. We could see some mist and fog patches developing again. Again, chilly, single figures, minimum temperature 8 Celsius, and tomorrow similar sort of day, chilly start, mist and fog, then the sun will appear and it's fine and dry. Maximum temperature 20 Celsius for Tuesday, that's 68 degrees in Fahrenheit.
Every weekday morning from 9, Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Lots to discuss. Do you agree with her? Do you think she speaks a lot of sense?
With the biggest questions.
Should Muslim women be allowed to wear the veil in court? And is it fair to only give people this kind of benefit for 3 months?
And the biggest opinions.
I'd like to hear from you.
I feel strongly because
children should be taught in a structured way.
You know, there's nothing better in life than real life experience.
Don't be patronising.
Excuse me, I'm talking, sorry. There's 2 words here, common sense.
One of my pet hates, I feel really strongly about it. We're talking about that. I agree with you.
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lots to talk about. Telepathy, what have the Scots ever done for us? And also your attitude towards foie gras. A local pub in Hertfordshire has become the centre of a debate about the food. Protesters demonstrated outside the Bricklayers Arms pub in Flaundon to raise awareness of the delicacy, which is the swelled liver of a goose which is overfed. Well, our reporter Justin Daly was there on Saturday evening during the demonstration. Justin, how many people were there? What was the atmosphere like?
Well, when I arrived, Ian, there were 7 protesters by the door to the pub with 2 police officers. Their placards included things such as the delicacy delicacy of despair. It was a peaceful protest, to be fair, that there was no chanting. They were simply handing out leaflets to people as they entered the pub. But the protesters said to me that they are going to go back and protest again until this is taken off the menu. As for the pub, the owner said to me he won't be blackmailed over this. But in reality, of course, does anybody really care whether it's cruel or not? Here's what people entering the pub had to say.
I think there's more important things in this world, like kids dying on the streets of England and abroad on a daily basis, and they're worried about a bit of pate.
Will you be eating it this evening?
I certainly will. I've never eaten it before, but I'm going to try it and make my own decision.
Interesting. So off the back of this protest is actually making you want to eat it?
Yes, absolutely. And if I like it, I'll have it again. If I don't, I won't.
I eat it. I think that in terms of a delicacy, it certainly is a delicacy. But I think in the greater scheme of things that there are a lot of worse practices, perhaps. That
So you don't feel guilty for eating it?
Certainly not.
I personally think they're wasting their time. I just let people get on and do what they want to do. If they want to eat it, they can eat it. If they want to eat it, don't.
Will it put you off coming back here?
Not at all. More fun, actually. I might come back again.
I mean, have you tried it yourself? Have you ever eaten it yourself?
We have in France, yeah.
You didn't feel guilty for eating it at all?
No, not at all. Went back for seconds.
I think it's a great shame that people like this haven't got something better to do on a Saturday night than threaten small businesses when there are plenty of other large businesses, if they want to make their presence felt, that they could go and intimidate and upset.
No support then, it would seem, for the protest.
I mean, there was one local person who joined the demonstration as I was leaving, and that person doesn't use the pub as far as I know, but certainly the people entering that pub have no problem with this at all, and they couldn't really understand the fuss. I mean, these people are regulars, they're going there pretty much on a weekly basis, and it was quite a shock for them to be entering their local pub with 7 protesters and 2 police officers, but certainly the people that I spoke to, certainly no support for the protesters.
Did they say why they were protesting outside the pub instead of the manufacturers or a shop that sells? It seems odd to target a small pub.
I mean, for them, they just think it's cruel and they want this taken off the menu as soon as possible. Of course, that they were the Hertfordshire animal rights protesters. They just want it taken off the menu. But of course, the pub, they're saying to me they won't be blackmailed. And of course, although it's illegal to produce it in the UK, it's not illegal to sell it in the UK. So he's doing nothing wrong by the legal standards. And people are going into that pub and they're ordering it. At the end of the day, he's doing nothing wrong and he's there to make money. If people are buying it, I suppose, why should he take it off the menu?
Just thank you very much indeed. Listening to that is Kirk Leach, the Executive Director of the European Animal Research Centre, who doesn't have a problem with foie gras. And we've also got Vicky Bond, a vet from Compassion in World Farming, who are petitioning the EU to ban production of the food. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Vicky, we'll start with you. What's your beef with foie gras?
Well, foie gras is an inherently cruel practice. It involves caging ducks in cages the size of the bird and shoving hundreds of grams of grain down their throat twice a day. In terms of geese, they're kept in barren pens on slatted flooring and again maybe fed up to 3 or 4 times a day with up to 1,000 grams of grain down their throats. This is not a natural practice. This is incredibly unethical, and I don't think those people really realise the suffering involved in their production of foie gras.
Kirk, you don't seem to have a problem with it.
No, I don't. I think the customers of the pub were eminently sensible and should be supported for what they were saying. No, I don't. I mean, I think this protest and what I've just heard indicates how illiberal our times are, where food practices are what we do in private have become public concern. I don't see the production of foie gras as being cruel at all. It actually mimics a natural process. I mean, ducks, unlike humans, don't gag. You know, they have a lined esophagus so they can swallow whole frogs and whole fish.
Sorry, may I just interject?
Excuse me, I didn't interrupt you, so please give me the chance to speak, then you can more than take your time. So they don't gag like humans. So obviously, if you look at it, it looks cruel, but it mimics a natural process, which ducks do when they kind of migrate. These ducks don't migrate. I don't think it's a natural, cruel process at all.
Vicky, you wanted to come in?
Yes, I do. Absolutely, it is not a natural process to gorge themselves in 3 seconds on hundreds of grams of grain. These ducks are foragers. They would eat. I agree. Before migrating, their livers may become bigger, but they don't become 10 times the size. And it's not because they've been feeding within 3 seconds hundreds of grams of grain. No, they've been foraging. They forage on berries. They forage on seeds, on aquatic weeds, for instance. These birds don't eat huge volumes of grain altogether. Within several seconds. And we see high mortality levels in those birds in the process of gavaging. A million ducks a year die during this process. They don't even reach slaughter because it's causing untold suffering to these animals, and their abdomen becomes distended. And that in itself will cause discomfort. And to keep them in barren environments where they can't perform their natural behaviours. To think of a duck without water, I mean, it just doesn't work. You know, these birds can't even open their wings. The cages are so small.
You can't argue that it's a replication of a natural process, being kept in a tiny cage and having a tube shoved down their throat.
Exactly.
No, the point I was making was that ducks, because the point that she was making before was that force feeding them. Ducks don't gag like humans. So let me finish. Mimics a process. I'm not saying that this is easy on the eye or easy to stomach. I'm not saying that at all.
But you don't think there's any cruelty in having a bird in a cage that's not much bigger than the bird and having a tube shoved down its throat?
Actually, most foie gras. If you look at, say, go to France, look at how foie gras is produced. These ducks are not in cages. Most of them are in open pens.
That's not true. I agree.
What is the point of having a conversation? What is the point of having a conversation if this person keeps interrupting me all the time?
Just calm down. You can quickly make your point, and then Vicky, you can come in.
I've seen foie gras produced in France, and they're in open pens, and often the ducks come up to where the tubes are to take the food. So that's one part of it. But the point I'm making is that this whole discussion reflects a kind of we are estranged from how food is produced. And I think the people who say this is cruel are wrong. And number two, I think the kind of petty harassment of small local shops should be condemned. The reason they're outside your local pub is because these people have stopped most of the high street department shops, supermarkets from selling foie gras. I think only Fulham and Masons in London is left to do it. The reason they're attacking small pubs who probably make 3% of their takings from the production of foie gras, they're bullying these people and they should be condemned for it.
Vicky, are they picking the wrong people?
Well, the reality is retailers have stopped selling it because they know it's associated with a terribly cruel practice and they themselves don't want to be associated with it. This is why it's so important that, unfortunately, there are individuals that don't show compassion to animals, and that's why we need legislation that protects animals, and that's why we have a petition going to the European Commission to ban both the import and the production of foie gras in the European Union.
Vicky, I'm assuming you're a vegetarian.
I don't think my eating habits are particularly relevant here. At Compassion Animal Farming, we believe in higher welfare farming. That's what we believe in.
Well, in that case,
it's about raising animals.
Your eating habits are. I'm assuming in that case you're not a vegetarian, so it is okay for an animal to, I don't know, either have its throat slit or a bolt put through its head. That's okay.
There are forms of slaughter that can be more humane, and we advocate humane forms of slaughter. So you need stunning for slaughter. That's incredibly important.
But that it's just some people might see a contradiction there. That you think that one practice is cruel, but the stunning of an animal, which isn't always successful, and then having a bolt put through its head, that still sounds quite cruel, doesn't it?
Unfortunately, the reality is that farming practices require slaughter, and that's why it's incredibly important to maintain humane forms.
Well, you could be a vegetarian if you were that against cruelty to animals.
Again, I'm not talking about my dietary habits. We want to raise the bar on farm and welfare. We want to reduce the number of animals suffering in the world.
Well, they would suffer less.
They should be raised in higher welfare.
They would suffer less if they didn't have their throat slit or a bolt put through their head, wouldn't they?
The reality is, farm animals. People want to eat farm animals, and that's why we must ensure that they are raised in higher welfare conditions. That's the key. Give them as much compassion as you can, and to do that, you need to rear them in higher welfare conditions.
And you don't see a contradiction in saying give them as much compassion as you can when you are condoning the killing of them?
We live in a society where animals are raised for food, and at this current time, that means they should be raised in humane systems that allow them to be able to perform their natural behaviours, and foie gras absolutely does not allow them to perform any of their natural behaviours.
Kirk, would it really have such an impact on the farming world if we outlawed foie gras?
It would certainly have impact on certain French producers of foie gras, but I think the broader point I would like to make is that this, I mean, you raise an interesting contradiction there, which is that why should somebody's subjective distaste of a certain food production, foie gras, mean that other people cannot enjoy it? Just and as you said, there's a contradiction between production of meat for the table and foie gras for the table. Why should somebody their feelings about one deny the right of other people to enjoy this as a practice. So I think it should be condemned, and I think people should be allowed to produce foie gras and sell it in the UK.
OK, listen, I appreciate your time. We're out of time. It's, the last voice you heard there was Kirk Leach, Executive Director of the European Animal Research Centre, and the other voice was Vicky Bond, a vet from Compassion in World Farming. Your thoughts on it, please. Foie gras, is it cruel? Have you had it? What does it taste like? And is there, and I hope it didn't sound like I was picking on Vicky, because I didn't mean to at all, but is there a contradiction in campaigning for the banning of foie gras and campaigning against cruelty towards animals when you eat meat? 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, rather heavy between junction 10 Luton Airport Spire Road and junction 9 for Redbourne. The A1M also rather heavy between junction 8 at Stevenage and junction 7. Looking at the M40, it's queuing heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25. And so far, taking a look at the trains, everything's running well. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. I enjoyed that. Your thoughts on that, please. Also, in the next hour, your telepathic tales. And what have the Scots ever done for us? We've got 4 things so far. They must have done more.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: a review of rules for Milton Keynes taxi drivers, siblings being split up when put into foster care, and beauty salons failing to follow safety rules.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Milton Keynes Council is reviewing its taxi policies this evening after it emerged a convicted rapist was given a licence. Another 5 taxi drivers with criminal convictions are still on the road in the new city. Chair of the Fenny Stratford Residents Association, Rosemary Smith, says the councillors responsible should resign.
I'm not saying that this is a witch hunt or anybody wanting revenge, but I can't see that the safety of the residents of Milton Keynes is anything other than priceless, and the trust in their councillors is paramount to the residents that are putting them into power.
A fifth of children in the east of England are being separated from their siblings when being placed into foster care. The charity Action for Children says it's because of a shortage of people who can look after more than one child. Elaine Sturman, a foster mother from Aylesbury, says siblings need to support each other.
It is very, very important to keep them together. It helps with all sorts of things, especially the trauma of coming into care. If they're together, it eases that, but if they're separated, that makes that trauma much, much worse.
Police in London searching for the missing teenager Alice Gross have arrested a second man on suspicion of murder. 14-year-old Alice was last seen 11 days ago. A third of beauty salons in Luton and Milton Keynes investigated by the BBC are failing to follow industry safety guidelines. Salons are supposed to offer patch tests on customers wanting eyebrow tinting. Jane Killick reports.
In January, 17-year-old Harley Kay from Luton was taken to hospital with burns. She claims the American Nail Bar in Luton had incorrectly waxed her eyebrows before tinting them and then left the tint on for 15 minutes instead of the recommended 2. The salon has admitted liability, but compensation is yet to be agreed. The British Association of Beauty and Cosmetology is calling for a compulsory register of beauty therapists to prove they hold proper qualifications.
With only 10 days to go to the Scottish referendum, one poll has put the yes camp in the lead for the first time. The Labour leader Ed Miliband says extra power should be given to the Edinburgh Parliament if they decide to stay in the UK. Professor John Curtis from the University of Strathclyde says the issue of which campaign has the more credible arguments is crucial.
I think the no side need to realise that they are approaching something of a crisis of credibility. We're now in a position where 51% of people say they do not believe what the no side say about the currency, and that number has kept on increasing the more the no side have insisted that they are not bluffing.
In sport, Lewis Hamilton claimed his 6th victory of the Formula One season after winning the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And the weather will be misty at first, but staying dry and mostly sunny. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, that's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It's a beautiful little town. Yeah, really green and peaceful.
All this week, we're discovering Prince's Risborough.
Filled with lovely people who have got a great sense of community.
Exploring where you live.
And there are some nice walks in the area. Whiteleaf up the top is very nice.
Walking, cycling, yeah, lots to offer.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Ian's just emailed in. Ian, I've had foie gras. Tastes a bit like chicken.
I bet it does.
Yeah, everything tastes like chicken.
Although that...
What?
You can have too much chicken.
Oh, no, you can't. Chicken and bacon. The fowl and the swine together in a sandwich. Who thought of that?
That just makes salty chicken.
Oh. Catherine's got her hand raised.
I've got a bit of a thing about chicken.
Yeah?
I've got a principle.
Oh, yeah, go on.
If I am packing my shopping...
When you say packing your shopping, you actually mean packing your shopping?
I won't put eggs in the same bag as chicken meat. Because it feels like you're like wrapping it up with its mum.
You really mean that as well, don't you?
I do.
Oh, for goodness sake. You see what we're dealing with here? Wow. Talking about taxi drivers in Milton Keynes, you can tell us your shopping superstitions, telepathic powers, and also what have the Scots ever done for us? 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
We're going to hear from Justin a couple of times in this next hour. We're making him work hard today. We're making him earn his buck. Now, Milton Keynes Council is set to take action tonight following last week's revelation that a serial rapist was given a taxi licence. There's been widespread condemnation of councillors who approved that driver's application, along with 6 others with convictions, at least one of which was for a sexual offence. Well, we can talk now to Conservative MP for Milton Keynes North, Mark Lancaster. Morning, Mark.
Good morning.
It's a mess, isn't it?
It is a mess. I think everybody was shocked. I confess, in 10 years of being a Member of Parliament, I think this is probably one of the most jaw-dropping moments. I was pleased how quickly Milton Keynes Council has acted, but I think we need to do more, which is why I've written to the Secretary of State really saying that we need to have a degree of consistency really in guidance now from government so that we can ensure that taxi drivers are treated exactly the same way across the country.
Because, this is the thing, it is completely inconsistent. Leeds is very, very strict on what they do, but it's up to local councils to decide the rules themselves. That can't be right, can it?
Well, yes and no. I think what we need is a higher bar for taxi drivers to cross. Now, it's right at one level that once you have been convicted of an offence and you've served your sentence after a period of time, that should be considered to be spent. However, I believe there are some crimes which are simply inappropriate for a taxi driver to have committed however long ago.
For example?
Well, rape or any form of sort of violence against a person, or really probably any kind of act or crime against an individual, because when you're in that taxi and you're on a one-to-one situation in an environment which you can't control, I think you need and deserve the right to have the confidence the person driving you hasn't had one of those crimes in the past.
What needs to happen tonight, Mark?
Well, I think Milton Keynes Council, within the guidance which already sits from government, which says that a taxi driver must be a fit and proper person, I think Milton Keynes Council need to make sure that locally they raise the bar to ensure that something like this can't happen again.
Have you spoken to other ministers about this? If so, what have they said?
Indeed, I have. I've had a one-to-one conversation just whilst we were voting last week with the Secretary of State for Transport and explained the situation in Milton Keynes. He was shocked and surprised and has pledged to go and have a look at it. Now, these things always take a small amount of time, but I have started those wheels in motion. I think the other thing to say, of course, is that historically we used to have CRB checks, the Criminal Records Bureau's checks, and they were done on an individual sort of organisation by organisation, county by county basis. The one positive thing in this area the government has done recently is to change that process, where we now have a national database, if you like, so that there is that information can be shared between organisations, which wasn't the case before.
You say you've spoken. How long does this process take, Mark? What's the procedure?
Well, basically, I have written to the Secretary of State for Transport and then followed it up verbally as well, because I happened to bump into him last week to explain the situation. He said that he'll go away and look at it. So basically, his officials will now be looking at the guidance and how it could be improved. I think the one thing you do learn in politics, Ian, is always to be slightly careful before rushing in to make a decision, because there's always unintended consequences of every action you take. So I think right now they'll be thinking, OK, well, if we do raise the bar, what are the unintended consequences? Can we cope with those consequences?
Former Mayor Subhan Shafiq, councillors Gladstone, Mackenzie and Stuart Burke, they passed this gentleman through and gave him the licence. Should they stand down as councillors?
Well, I've been asked this question several times now. My view is, on the sort of current information that we have, certainly our former mayor probably should, but I think it's only right that he should be given the opportunity to explain his actions and apologise. Currently, I understand he hasn't, but I would like to sort of urge him again to give both his ward constituents and the wider people of Milton Keynes the opportunity to hear exactly what happened and why, so that we can then form an opinion.
We have been trying to get them all on the show, and none of them have surfaced yet. We will let you know if they do come on. Mark, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Conservative MP for Milton Keynes North, Mark Lancaster. And just to reiterate, Subhan Shafiq, former mayor, you are more than welcome to come on this show. Maybe you didn't get the letter we sent, recorded delivery, maybe, I don't know. You are more than welcome to come on this show, and you can have as long as you want to put forward your position. You want half an hour, you can come and have half an hour. Why don't you give us a call and we can sort it out maybe for tomorrow's show. 08459 455 555. And the same goes to the councillors Gladstone, Mackenzie, Stuart Burke. You are very welcome to come on the show and put forward your side of the story. I'm aware it's very one-sided at the moment, so I'm happy to redress the balance.
It may not be so cut and dry as it appears. 08459 455 555. You can give us a ring.
Call me now.
Yeah.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Struggling this morning. The Jockey Horror Show. That's quite good, actually. Oh? The front page of The Sun. The battle to keep Scotland in Britain sank into chaos yesterday. The Queen is horrified Scotland may be independent. She's got Balmoral, isn't it?
Yeah, some of her favourite places are in Scotland.
They're some of her favourite places she stole and owns. So...
Do you know there's no heat in there?
What, in Scotland? There is?
No, in Balmoral.
What, really?
Yeah, that's why they all carry around hot water bottles.
No, do not carry...
Seriously.
Do not.
It's a true fact.
I think they had to get rid of all of the heating after the fire in Windsor Castle. They weren't taking...
Too warm.
No more risks. Well, we're trying to come up with... It's next Thursday, week Thursday, that they vote. Mm-hmm. On whether they want to, survive and be part of us, or they want to slowly wither and die.
Right.
And I'm bored of it. We're trying to find out. Who came up with this?
Me.
No, it was off the back of a call, wasn't it?
Yes. It was Colin.
No, it wasn't Colin.
Colin was talking about
it wasn't Colin. It was the grumpy gentleman whose name escapes me. Kelly was the grumpy gentleman that phones in.
Pat.
Pat, outrageous.
Yeah.
Who I get the feeling, I don't know, I get the feeling Pat hates me, but listens every day.
I
like Pat.
He hates you. I think he likes being disgruntled.
I like Pat a lot.
Hey, Marco in St Albans has a question on the Texas.
Yeah, go on.
He says, if Scotland gets their independence, will you guys still feel the same way and support Andy Murray like you do now? Marco, do you listen? I'm curious to know, says Marco of St Albans. I take it as a rhetorical question.
What has Scotland ever done for us? So this is the list we've got, and it's poor.
Oh, here's some good ones, though. Go on, you can give...
So far, we've got Charlene Spiteri, Ronnie Corbett. Lulu's been crossed off because she's actually a Cockney. Shortbread and the Crankies. It's not great, is it?
Craig's not happy. He thinks we're patronising the Scots. Are we? We're just asking... No, we're
not patronising. We're taking the mick. There's a difference.
Like we do with everyone else.
Yeah.
Scots gave you... Oh, hang on a minute.
Oh, here we go, sir.
Scots gave you the Bank of England... Macadisation, rubber tyres, penicillin, TV, breech-loading rifle and Macintosh.
Slow down. Right. So they've given us weapons. You proud of that? Really? I don't think so. The Bank of England is obviously English. You're thinking of the Royal Bank of Scotland. Breech berths, did they say?
No.
Oh, that was the rifles.
Breech-loading rifle.
Tyres?
Yeah.
Someone would have invented tyres. If they'd invented wheels, boom, that would be great. Tyres?
Well, they're quite important and good.
Yeah, but someone would have invented them anyway.
Victory at Waterloo. Wow. Held the line at Balaclava. It was because we used to go on, you go first, lads.
Well, so far we've had three things that are very warmongery.
The steam engine, electrodynamics, radar, insulin, pedal bicycle and many, many more.
Yeah, boring things. Boring things. The pedal bicycle and war.
Judy says tarmac and television.
Can I steal that as the title for my autobiography, please?
Yes, tarmac and television.
Tarmac, blimey. Okay, all right. Well, it's still not the most impressive list. It's still not a list that would make me think, man, we got to keep those guys.
Hang on a minute. The steam engine, provided the mechanisation for the Industrial Revolution.
Mate, the steam engine has created train spotters. Do they really want to be proud of that?
Oh.
Really? Scotland's full of hills, and I do like Scotland. Please be aware.
I've never been to Scotland.
Poison scribes that my tongue is slightly in my cheek, but it's full of. You've never been to Scotland?
No.
You won't be able to go in 2 weeks' time.
I want to go when it's abroad.
Why have you not been to Scotland?
Just never had the opportunity.
You've never been to Edinburgh?
No, I almost went to St Andrews University. That would have been my first time in Scotland. That's pretty far in Scotland.
Have you? Because you would totally love the Edinburgh Festival.
Do you think?
Yeah, you would love it.
Why?
Because it's all a bit artsy and pretentious. And I know you've got aspirations to be, to be better than
this
your lot that God has given you.
Oh.
You'd like it. You'd like Scotland. I'll take you to Scotland one day.
That sounded like you were being nice, but actually you were kicking me in the bahookie.
Yeah. That's exactly what was going on. Yeah. You okay with that? Have a think.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A1M heading southbound, very heavy moving at the moment on the speed sensors between junction 8 and junction 7 for Stevenage. The M1 heading southbound, looking rather heavy moving between junction 10 for Luton Airport, Spur Road and junction 9 for Redbourne. Taking a look at the M25, very slow at the moment, heading anti-clockwise between junction 22 for St Albans and junction 16, the M40. The M40 itself looking heavy, that's heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25, and taking a look in North Watford, the A41 North Western Avenue, that's looking quite heavy moving just around the Dome roundabout. So far, no problems on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. I'm enjoying this far too much this morning. It's 8:16. It's Monday, the 8th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Milton Keynes Council will today review its taxi policies after it emerged a convicted rapist was given a licence. There's been a rise in the number of children being split up from their siblings when being placed into foster care. And the Scottish Yes campaign has been given a lead in the polls for the first time.
BBC Three Counties Radio. BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
Pretty little market town in the middle of the Chiltern Hills.
It's a beautiful little town. Yeah, really green and peaceful.
Exploring where you live.
You get smiles along the high street. Risborough people on the whole are very friendly.
All this week, we're discovering Prince's Risborough.
From where I live, you can look out and there's just green fields all the way down the bottom.
Telling everyone about where you live.
Walking, cycling, yeah, lots to offer.
You keep finding new places and new views. Even just driving about, you get surprises.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It's got a great sense of community and the spirit here is fantastic.
From BBC Three Counties Radio.
You take your time. Don't get your breath. Jonathan, get your breath. Take your time, get your breath. No, don't panic, Mr. Mannering. You can see Jonathan Vernon-Smith rushing around.
He's having printer problems.
Oh, the printers here at the BBC are absolutely shocking. Every time I want to print something, I have to go into the kind of like the mainframe computer, reset which that printer's not available. Oh, for goodness sakes. And you're about to be handed something. You can come in, Laura, if you've got something you want to give him. Look at this.
What's it? Oh, and I'm drinking someone else's water.
That's dear, disgusting. That's going to get the lurgy from that.
Oh,
dearie me, what's happened to you?
That I've just drunk?
That's not water.
Oh,
that's my spittoon.
I picked up the wrong glass.
Oh dear.
I've just drunk someone else's liquid.
You probably.
I know it's not mine. I know it's not mine because it's warm.
Yeah.
Good morning.
You're right.
Happy Monday. Start of a new week.
You having a good day so far?
No, so far, no.
No, so far, no. OK.
Well, things can only get better.
They could get a little bit worse.
Wasn't that a song?
D-Ream. That was the Professor.
Things can only get better.
That was Cox.
Pardon?
Professor Cox was in D-Ream. Brian Cox, wasn't he? That was his name.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was in D-Ream.
That was the opening song for Tony Blair's Premiership, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's right.
Boy, oh boy, did they get that wrong. You've caught your breath. What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the big phone in this morning from 9, are you now worried that Scotland will vote for independence? The news front pages today, they're absolutely covered in panicked headlines about the future of the UK. The Independent goes with Scotland heads for exit, whilst the Daily Telegraph runs with 10 days to save the Union. Polls suggest supporters of Scotland remaining in the UK are now stepping up their campaign as they fear the Yes campaign is now looking more popular. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your views on this. Are you now worried that Scotland will vote for independence? Let's face it, we didn't think they would up until now, did we?
No, it's getting close.
We thought up until now, everyone was saying, they won't vote for it.
Common sense would prevail.
Exactly, they won't vote for it. Now, after this poll... it would suggest it's really close and that there may just be enough people in Scotland who will vote to go independent. What does that mean for us? What does that mean to our country? And what will happen as a result? Can you just imagine if they do vote to go independent? What's going to happen? There'll be riots on the street.
Well, now, riots.
There'll be a lot of angry people.
The only thing I can see that will affect me is we'll have to change the Union flag. That'll have to change.
That's the only thing you think?
It's the only thing that'll bother me, yeah. We've got to change the blooming Union Jack. We should go and see if we can find another country that wants to join us. Maybe like a small one like Finland or something, once we're part of the Union.
So it really doesn't bother you, apart from the fact that we'd have to change the flag?
That honestly is my major concern. We'd have to change the flag, yes. The rest of it, no, fine, let them...
But it's part of our country. We're a unified country.
Well, we may not be in
big chunk
10 days' time.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But doesn't that upset you? The thought...
No?
No. Well, from 9 this morning... Are you now worried that Scotland
You
will
really are, aren't you? You're really concerned by this.
I don't know what the hell they're playing at. I mean, if you're listening up there, pull yourselves together. From 9 this morning, are you now worried that Scotland will vote for independence? 08459.
That's what they want. Some posh English bloke telling them to pull themselves together.
Well, they should do. It's ridiculous. They know not what they do. 08459 455 555 from 9.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I don't know why he's not doing a live simulcast with BBC Scotland.
I don't know either.
Him and Kirsty Walk should be doing a show together, 9 till 9:30, and that'll sort it out.
Gosh, can you imagine?
I can imagine if he went up there, it wouldn't be 51% voting in favour, it'd be 87% voting in favour.
Yeah, really, really posh bloke.
That's the reason we're leaving, laddie, is people like you and your attitude.
Oh, attitude.
Yeah, attitude. Now, there's a story...
I'm calling these the Vex messages from now on.
Oh,
They're
go on.
getting well vexed.
What we got? Who's vexed?
On the Texas. Helen in Milton Keynes is taking ownership of Craig, Angry Craig, who said that we provided this and that and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Helen in Milton Keynes, Michelin claim they invented the tyre. Royal Bank of Scotland was created because the Bank of England had to bail out and bankrupt Scotland, which was the main reason for the Treaty of the Union. Helen in Milton Keynes says, I think you're fine.
Yeah, in your face, Scots.
Now, the Proclaimers and Granny Murray is another person's suggestion for what the
I'll have Granny Murray. She's good. She's on a kids' TV show.
Don in High Wycombe says the Scots gave the English backbone. Don High Wycombe.
Oh,
and
jog on, fella.
Phil says this is the biggest contribution as far as Phil's concerned. What have the Scots ever done? 2 of them made my dad, who, with my mum, made me. The Scots have also been overrepresented in the armed forces. Caroline Bedford is rather amused by my weird thing about the chicken and the egg.
This is weird.
You can't put them in the same bag.
If you go shopping and you buy chicken and you buy eggs...
Put them in separate bags, it's only right. Show them some respect.
Because you're worried that they might get upset.
Well, you're putting the mum and the baby in the same bag, aren't you? That's wrong.
Can you believe that, Just?
I can believe that.
You don't do it, do you?
I believe.
You're with me, aren't you?
I believe.
Oh, he's off on one already.
I believe.
There is a story in the papers that you're right, Kath. What you seen?
Justin just tickles me.
I know, and we have lodged a complaint about that, so fingers crossed that won't be happening again.
I think we all know the truth there.
I deny that allegation, and if it ever happened,
it
must have been fleeting.
It's a shame we didn't have webcams back in the day, otherwise you would not be working at the BBC.
Webcams and a microscope.
Can you take this flirting off air, please? Now, There is a story in the papers. You're so naughty, you two. There is a story in the papers. Scientists have proved that telepathic powers exist. Of course they don't. It's a load of old rubbish.
Ian, why am I even here?
I don't know, Just.
Seriously.
I ask that question every flipping morning.
Not that issue, but this issue. You know, every single time this comes up in the papers, you bring out the same old line. It's a load of old rubbish. You are narrow-minded.
We showed this to you in the office before the show, and you went, guys, I don't know how much more Ev I can give you. I've proven it already.
How about some Ev?
Seriously.
And he's been out on the street, right, all morning, and I just saw him briefly during the news, and he said, this stuff is going to blow your mind.
No, it will. It will.
I suspect it won't.
It will do. And I have to say, thank you once again for making my Monday morning very easy, because, as you know, I can read minds just like that. This report took me all of about 10 minutes compared to a normal report of, let's say, an hour.
12 minutes.
So thank you very much. OK, we can do this individually in 3 parts, OK? I've got lots of
it. It's a trilogy.
If you want to do a 1 hour special...
A trilogy of Ev from this plum.
I have the minerals for a 1 hour broadcast on this, if you want. Okay?
Minerals?
Evidence number 1 that I can read people's
Exhibit
minds.
A.
Yes.
Here we go.
A.
Shall I press play?
Please.
There we go.
Do you believe in telepathy, sir?
No.
Why?
I just think it's possible.
I bet I know what you're thinking.
What's going on? Who are you?
I'm J-Dog. I work with Iain Lee on 3 Counties Radio. I think I know what you're thinking right now. OK, can you just look at me in the eye for a second? OK, we've got the focus, right. I think that you are thinking to yourself, am I going to get a full 1 hour lunch break today? You know I'm right. I can tell by your face, you're shocked. You know I'm right, don't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know how you would think that. I was thinking that earlier. I don't know.
Right, Justin.
There you go.
Can I just play the beginning of that report again?
Yeah, go for it.
Would you mind?
No, it's okay.
So I just want to check something. All right. So everyone just listen. I'm going to turn this. Let me just get it in the right place. I'm going to turn this up nice and loud. Let's just have a quick listen to just thought we heard something.
Do you believe in telepathy, sir?
Right. Okay. What the hell is telepathy?
Telepathy.
Telepathy.
Yeah, that's what I said. Telepathy.
Yeah, but
hang on a second.
What is telepathy?
Reading people's minds.
No, mate, that's telepathy.
I call it telepathy. It's my own words. Look, there's the evidence. You're getting away from the evidence. Evidence number 1. Okay? Agreed? Are we all clear here? Are we all clear?
Well, some of us are. What's Exhibit B?
For goodness sake, you two. You're just getting right on my nerves. Right, OK.
Your psychic nerves.
Yeah. Again, these were all random meetings of minds on the street. They weren't set up. Evidence number 2. I think you're thinking that people in this town don't drive very well. That's a really random thought, I know, but is that what you're thinking right now?
Yeah.
Are you not a bit freaked out that I can predict something so random like that?
In Luton, it's just the way it is. It's just everyone drives rubbish.
So for anybody who thinks that telepathy is a load of nonsense, for example, Iain Lee, he needs to get a life, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I don't understand what's going on. So you're bullying
Can
young men.
Can you say February for me?
February.
Exactly.
Can I tell you something?
Go on.
Justin, I know exactly what you're doing now. You're standing outside 3CR.
No,
and you've got a cigarette on.
Not true. Not true at all.
Well, Nick can see you and has just texted me in and said, Justin is standing outside 3CR with a fag on talking to Ian. I can see him. LOL.
Hand on heart. In fact, next person that walks past me, I'll ask them, hand on heart, I am not smoking a cigarette.
Oh,
okay?
Right.
So your psychic powers clearly aren't working.
Okay, mate, but obviously you're a telepathetic. What's evidence number 3?
Okay. You're not impressed by that?
Not yet, mate.
How random is that? That man thinking about traffic problems in Luton.
You bullied a young man. Okay, what's number 3?
Okay, evidence number 3. Here we go. Sir, I'm from Iain Lee's show. What's your name?
Richard.
Richard, we're doing a feature this morning about telepathy. Okay, I could be wrong here, but I'm thinking... Just look me in the eye for a second. Can we hold that focus there for a second?
They're thinking, what's telepathy?
1, 2, 3. I think that you're thinking right now that you're going to be late for work.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you think I've got special powers?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. What more do you need? Listen, do you want me to come back later on with more?
I mean...
I don't get you. What is your... Seriously, you're starting to annoy me now because, again, I have given you evidence.
You're making me laugh.
And you still don't get it.
Justin, I mean, fair play. Yes, you've intimidated some young men and some feeble men on the street.
You've got in the way of someone on his way to work who's in a rush.
Yeah, so that's fine. We'll probably leave it there for today, mate.
Why?
Because you're embarrassing yourself.
What? Why? I've given you 3 separate pieces of evidence. Random meetings of minds.
Yeah, definitely with that last fella. Yeah, your minds met.
No. I knew what they were thinking. Anything from lunch breaks to being late for work to traffic problems. How on earth could you predict, by looking at somebody for 3 seconds with an eye-to-eye focus, they were thinking about traffic problems?
On earth could you predict, when you're interrupting someone's journey to work, that they're going to be thinking either about lunch or about traffic or about the person standing in their way?
Well, he was walking down the road and there was nobody there. That was recorded an hour ago.
Right.
It was you.
Justin, thank you for that. You've got half an hour. Could you get us, do you think, a minute on what have the Scots done for us?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be quite brief, but I'll do my best for you.
Thank you very much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, rather slow moving between junction 12 at Flitwick and junction 11 for Dunstable Road. The A1M heading southbound, there's one lane closed at the moment between junction 4 at Hertford and junction 3 for St Albans. That's due to an accident that's happened there. Also rather heavy on the A1M around junction 2 for Welham Green. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, that's looking heavy on the speed sensors between junction 22 for St Albans and junction 16 the M40, and the M40 is queuing on camera heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25. On the train so far, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
8:30, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: Milton Keynes Council is expected to tighten its taxi licensing policy this evening. It follows widespread condemnation of councillors who approved a licence for a convicted rapist. A fifth of children in the east of England are being separated from their siblings when placed into foster care. The charity Action for Children says it's because there aren't enough people who can look after more than one child. With only 10 days to go to the Scottish independence referendum, a poll has put the Yes camp in the lead for the first time. After 9 o'clock this morning, JVS will be asking if you're worried that Scotland will vote for independence. The weather will be misty at first, but staying dry and mostly sunny. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. That's 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lewis Hamilton says he must build on yesterday's win at the Italian Grand Prix as he looks to overhaul his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg in the drivers' title race. Hamilton says his overall performance gives him confidence going into the next race.
It was great to be in the car this weekend and have that pace, and know that I have that pace and be able to get those laps in consistently and also the long run. I need to make sure that I have that from every race from now on.
Serena Williams won her 6th US Open and 18th Grand Slam title last night after beating Caroline Wozniacki in straight sets in New York. It moves Williams up to joint 4th in the all-time list of female major winners alongside Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert. Luton Town are still waiting for their first home league win of the season after losing 1-0 to Plymouth. Wycombe Wanderers remained 5th in League 2 after a 0-0 draw with Bury. Stevenage lost 3-2 at home against York, and after Andy Bond was sent off, manager Graham Wesley says improvements on the pitch need to be made.
We are making some silly mistakes at the moment. There's a little bit of confusion here or confusion there, and we don't quite do the right thing in the right situation. I want the player who's going to play with conviction. So they're learning, they're improving, they're developing. This will be a good side, but the learning has got to stop and the delivering has got to start sooner rather than later for the season to be a success, but we'll get there.
Gordon Strachan says his Scotland team should be proud of their efforts after losing 2-1 to Germany in their first Euro 2016 qualifier. Scotland's equaliser came from the Watford winger Akechi Anya.
I knew Fletcher would hold the ball up because that's what he's about. It was a great pass, and I just felt, if I could get in front of my man, which I managed to do, he wouldn't be able to catch me, and I saw him come out, he looked massive, and I just managed to put it in the corner, and luckily it went in.
And England kick off their campaign against Switzerland this evening. BBC Three Counties News and Sport, more at 9 o'clock.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Catherine, can you... I'm still confused about Justin saying telepathy. Can you set up the store? What are we talking about this morning? Oh, hang on a minute, let me do that.
Some scientists have done a scientific investigation into telepathy, or the power of mind-to-mind communication.
Yeah.
They reckon that because one of them thought ciao and the other one thought hola,
Yeah.
that's job done.
Yeah.
Justin thinks, why do we need an experiment anyway? We all know it's fact. About
weird,
telepathy.
isn't it? Telepathy. That's the thing that makes me uncomfortable. We've got that. What else have we got to do?
What have the Scots ever done for us? And we've got loads of texts as well.
Shall I go through the list we've got so far? 08459 455 555. Spiteri, Corbett, Shortbread, Crankies, Tyres, Bicycle, War, Tarmac, Granny Murray and the Proclaimers. Lulu was on the list. She has been taken off as she's actually a Londoner.
Well, yeah, she spent a lot of her time in Welland, apparently.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Lulu, you're out.
You're out. You're out.
You're out. The Bank of England was founded by a Scot, says Craig. He's back again and he's furious.
Craig, it's called the Bank of England, mate. The clue's in the title. You mean the Royal Bank of Scotland?
Peter in Milton Keynes, the sooner we get rid of Scotland, the sooner we, England, get independence from Scotland, the better.
Yeah.
Peter, flipping the tables in Milton Keynes.
Yeah. Table flipper.
Mark in Bedford says there's a representation of Wales in the Union flag. Some could be added to fill the void left on removing the Scotch part. And someone else, who's this? Grant says, I think that's Grant that came in that time, the Beatles tribute.
Oh, yeah, they were good, they were.
We
should get them back, actually. I enjoyed that.
Scots gave us the best author ever, Irving Welsh.
Oh, come on. Have you ever tried to read an Irving Welsh book? It's illegible. Because he writes in Scotch. For goodness sakes, guys.
He also likes the new grumpy Doctor Who Peter Capaldi. Maffin Hanslope, I like you, but you think I'm a raving nutter. Mm-hmm. What about the deep-fried Mars bar, eh? Stay with us, Scotland, and on your return to meat eating, this is a personal question for you.
Hello. Yes.
Is your gammon steak choice egg or pineapple?
I don't really like... Gammon is gammon ham?
Yeah, thick. It's like thick bacon.
Pig. I don't really like pig.
You like bacon?
I like bacon. I don't like pork. That's pig as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't like pork.
Yeah.
Foie gras, though, should I try it? 08459 455 555. A heated debate about 40 minutes ago. I was surprised that young lady who was campaigning against cruelty to animals is not a vegetarian, which I'd imagine killing animals is quite cruel.
Although she was representing a train of thought that believes there is a humane way to slaughter.
There isn't. There isn't. You're killing it. Where's the humanity in that?
Well, killing it quickly and painlessly.
Yeah, all right, I'll do that to you. See if your kids, when they're crying, where's mummy? Don't worry, children, I did it humanely. Oh, that's all right then.
As long as you eat every little bit afterwards, it's all justified.
Richard's in Winslow. Good morning, Richard.
Well, I hate to raise a serious note to this morning, but
if you're going to sing,
I'm really not complaining about cruelty to children. That Catherine cannot keep separating those eggs from their mothers. She's got to start putting them in the same bag, because there is a society for the protection of chickens, the NSPCC, National Society for the Protection of Children, Cruelty to Chickens role. She's got to stop putting those. She's got to put the chicken eggs back in with the mummies, because they're very upset. They might be dead, but she's got to put them in the same plastic bag.
Richard, thank you very much for that low-quality phone call. Quality low was in terms of the phone and the content.
I mean, my habit of having to separate the two out of respect for them.
When are people... This is the thing I don't get right. When I was a vegetarian... but you eat eggs, you're eating baby chicks. No, I'm not. I'm eating a chicken's period. Excuse my language. Oh. But I am. That's all it is. It's not...
It's a life that could have been.
It's not. If
not for our greed.
It's unfertilised. It's unfertilised.
Only because we want it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
It could have been a life.
Well, for goodness sakes.
Anyway,
really.
I just don't think it's right putting them together in the same bag. And that's just me. In fact, I don't think it is just me. I think there are more people out there with a similar view. You know, people who honour life. Phil says, when Catherine unpacks her shopping, which comes first, the chicken or the eggs?
Hey.
Phil, it may be one, maybe t'other, but they do not see each other.
Yeah.
I make sure one is put away before the other one is extracted.
I don't think everyone's taking this Scottish thing seriously.
Yeah, Steve says, how about the family Ness?
Oh, that was good. You can rock it, you can knock it, you can go to Timbuktu, but you'll never find a Nessie in the zoo.
That was the end one, but the first one was... do 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 do. Elspeth and Angus watch the notes go floating across the loch.
Oh gosh. Mum, stop it, you're embarrassing me. And you're not even my mum. Carpet Martin says, Scotland has given us headbutts, low-grade heroin and Supergrand. Come on, that's not fair. No, Martin, you're not playing by the rules. Mick's from High Wycombe. Morning, Mick. Mick?
Off Charlene Spiteri's name off the list there of what Scotland gave us, because, let's face it, Spiteri, it's not exactly a Scottish name, is it? It's Italian.
You raise an excellent point. And I know there is a huge Italian community in Scotland. I believe it resulted, and this is not a joke, in the ice cream wars. There were famous ice cream wars.
Heard that, yeah.
But you're right.
Where everybody turned vanilla or strawberry, I think, overnight.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so something like... You're right.
You could knock off old Mar Spiteri's name and probably Peter Capaldi, because, OK, he's got a Scots accent and he lives in England. He's got an Italian surname, so how Scottish is he?
Spiteri and Capaldi, they're gone, fella. Can you think of anything that Scotland's given us?
A headache.
Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Mick will be here all week. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number, should you wish to give us a call. So Spiteri's gone, Capaldi's... It's true that there were the famous ice cream wars in Glasgow when a load of... there were like all these different rival ice cream companies, and because they were all Italian, there were links with the mafiosa, weren't there? That's true.
You also used to pay for they didn't have cornets. Do you know this?
No.
Oh, yeah, they used to give you a penny lick. This isn't even a joke.
I used to go to school with a girl called Penny Lick.
I used to go to university with a girl called Lick Men. We know this already.
I used to go to school with a gentleman whose name was Wayne. His last name was King. I have to separate them when I say them on the radio. Also, my friend...
Richard Head.
My friend Nick Taylor married his sweetheart Jenny.
Oh.
And she took his last name.
OK, you win.
Thank you.
Anyway, the penny lick was a real thing. You would get a glass sort of cup thing.
Yeah.
And you'd give it a lick, and then you'd give it back. But they stopped using them because of the spread of, I think it was like TB or something.
That's my boys. My boys were swapping lollipops the other day.
Yeah.
Guess I go on your lollipop. It's disgusting.
But that's brothers. You're not doing it with randoms.
Penny... I don't like the cone in the ice cream.
I like a real cone. You know, the biscuity ones?
Yeah, no, thanks.
No, not the cheap ones.
No, I don't like them. Don't like the taste of them. It's horrible. Just give me the ice cream. Give me a lick. Penny?
Penny lick.
Yeah, I'll have some of that. Thank you very much. Lynn's in Hemel. Morning, Lynn.
Good morning, my darling.
What have you got for us?
How are you?
I'm all right. I didn't get much sleep last night.
Oh, babies kept you up, did they?
No, they didn't. I was doing a little I don't want to use the word show last night because that will it's not quite true. I did a little turn last night in a comedy club in that there London.
Oh, did you?
I did a little 20-minute experiment, and it went quite well.
Oh, well done you. You are very funny.
Oh, well, you know, and I should say hello to all some very lovely people came down who listened to this show. People, Connor in particular is one who springs to mind, came down with his mum.
Oh,
loads of people came down listening to the show, loads of podcast listeners, and it was really nice to meet them all and say hello. And I did a little turn, and my idea has got legs, so I shall do more turns. So, but I got home quite late, so I'm tired.
So you're a bit shattered, really.
A little bit shattered. What have you got for us?
Well, I just want to say I'm so with Catherine. I've been doing that thing for years.
Which thing? What thing that she does? Because she does some weird things.
Not that.
Good, thank God.
Not putting chickens and eggs in the same bag.
Lynn, with the greatest of respect, you're completely nuts, aren't you?
Well, yes, that is true.
So I would expect that kind... Do you really do that?
Yeah, I don't know why. It just seems cruel.
Yeah. I think we're just thoughtful. I don't think we're mad, Lynn. I think we're just thoughtful.
No, I
respectful.
think it's just being caring about them, isn't it?
Where's the caring and sharing?
Well, because you've got the poor mummy, who obviously you're going to eat.
Yeah.
And really enjoy it.
Delicious.
And you've got the babies in little shells.
Yeah.
I don't know, I am bonkers, but I do think it's quite important. You have to show a bit of respect for them.
Kelly, what are you telling me about a gummy bear?
They've got faces and stuff.
Yeah.
They're quite cute. And one time me and my cousin were out and we accidentally dropped a gummy bear on the floor and felt so bad, so we went and put another one next to it.
Double litter.
Yeah, isn't that awful,
No,
Lynn?
they were together. It was fine.
Oh, no, I do things like that. It's like, if, you know, when you open some vegetables or something.
Yeah.
And you've got a few left. I always leave two together.
You leave vegetables together?
Yes.
Thanks for calling, Lynn.
She wins.
What? I've not been at the BBC long enough. Is there a procedure that we have to initiate when we get a call like that? Do we have to call social services and ambulance?
I think it's beautiful. She's thinking about company.
She's got a couple of carrots in the fridge. She won't separate them. She'll have both carrots.
Yeah.
She won't leave a Brussels sprout on its own.
Never leave a sprout behind.
I mean, that is wonderful.
I can't throw out kids. You know, sometimes...
You can't throw out kids? Good. I'm glad you can't.
You get overloaded with teddy bears.
Yeah.
I can't look at them as I throw them away.
Yeah.
I have to turn their faces away.
Yeah.
I chucked out a load of my teddies. Teddy the Badger, the Golly. All of those guys are gone. A big Ted, and I miss...
You couldn't meet their eyes, could you?
No, I couldn't. The Golly used to make me very uncomfortable anyway.
I had one of those. I never liked it.
Yeah. But Teddy the Badger, he was a panda.
Teddy the Badger?
Yeah, Teddy the Badger. He was a panda. That's insane.
There was a story behind him and you still threw
Yeah, I know.
away.
I feel really bad. I got Scruff. Scruff's the main one. Scruff's the bad boy, right? Scruff is the one my mum made, and then my great-grandmother knitted him a little soldier's uniform. Still got that. The boys have got that. He looks as good as new. But the other losers, I chucked them out.
Oh, you're a hard man.
Spiteri, you may have missed it. Spiteri's off the list. Italian. Capaldi's off the list. Italian.
No, but they're Italian Glaswegians, aren't they?
No. We've got to be firm but fair here. Harsh.
We're going to discriminate, are we?
Well, no, it's not discriminate. We want to be. The list of what Scotland has given us is very, very poor.
Tonics.
Oh, the tea cakes. Nobody give them tea cakes. 08459 455 555. The last 15 minutes of the show. I'm going to give up on the telepathic powers because we've had no calls on that whatsoever.
Although maybe she just needs to beam it out again. Kelly did an experiment
Go on,
earlier
Kels.
on, didn't she?
Beam out a word.
Okay, hang on.
Ready?
Squeeze it out.
Thinking of the word now.
Squeeze one out.
Thinking of the word now.
Go.
Don't squeeze too hard. You're not very well. OK, the word is now out there, dear listeners. What was she squeezing out? 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1, heading southbound, rather busy between junction 12 at Flitwick and junction 11 for Dunstable Road. In Cannington, Luton Road at the moment is closed between Hyde Road and Woodside Road due to an accident that's happened there. And the M25, heading anti-clockwise, there's a lane closed at the moment between junction 25 for Enfield and junction 24 for Potters Bar. There's a broken down vehicle there. The A1M, heading southbound, there's a lane closed because of an accident between junction 4 at Hartford and junction 3 for St Albans. So far, taking a look at the M40, that's queuing at the moment heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25. On the trains, everything's running well. No reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. .46, it's Monday the 8th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Conservative MP for Milton Keynes North, Mark Lancaster, says national taxi guidelines need reviewing after a rapist was given a licence in the new city. There's been a rise in the number of children being split up from their siblings when being placed into foster care, and the Scottish Yes campaign has been given a lead in the polls for the first time. 08459 455 555. What's the fuss about foie gras? And what has Scotland ever done for us? We'll take your calls on that and more after the weather with Kate.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Quite a chilly start this morning, although it looks like temperatures just about getting up into double figures, around 9 or 10 Celsius in many places this morning. Have a little bit of cloud across parts of Buckinghamshire, but elsewhere it's blue sky and sunshine, and in Buckinghamshire that's going to lift and burn away as well. So it's a really pleasant day, plenty of sunshine, and the temperature steadily climbing as well. We're looking at a maximum of 20 Celsius later on this afternoon. Clear skies overnight will lead to mist and fog patches forming again, particularly in the rural spots. Quite chilly as well. Temperatures down again into single figures at 8 Celsius. And tomorrow, a similar start to this morning, actually. A bit of mist and fog. Quite chilly, but again, the sun will burn through and quite a pleasant day. Temperatures up towards 20 Celsius. And that's your forecast.
The Penny Lick.
Every weekday morning.
It went ping.
Did it ping again?
It did about a week later. It went ping again.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
I just don't know where or what to do now.
I went to speak to this retailer who had told Sue that because the sofa was out of its 12-month guarantee, they didn't have any liability. Well, we all know that's rubbish, don't we?
The JVS show fights for your rights.
Jonathan and I have got the whitest, cleanest overhead door available.
Listen, I'm going to thank your credit card very much for getting things sorted out. and any other problems, you know where we are.
Thank you so much for everything. It took me 7 months to sort it out. Have you done it in 2 weeks?
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Do you know, if we'd done this foie gras thing, I say, about 5 years ago, I think we would have got loads of people outraged and angered by it. We've had a couple of texts and some Facebook comments, some Twitters, but no one's phoned in, which makes me think no one's that bothered anymore.
No, do you remember the 90s? Flipping out, we were all animal rights, weren't we? Body shop.
I bet as well, if we did a thing on fur coats, no one would be that bothered anymore. You're right, the 90s were the time when you would see all those people out on the street with their little petitions about animal cruelty and animal testing and fox hunting and body shop and all of that kind of stuff. And I think that people aren't that bothered about those things anymore.
Maybe it's because we know more about where stuff comes from, so it's not shocking anymore. We've got used to it.
I thought when we were going to do the foie gras thing, I thought, we'll get a load of calls on this, and it's kind of revealing. I think that we haven't.
Yeah.
And again, I think if we did fur coats. I don't think it's normally idealistic young people that are into these kind of things, and I'm guessing young people aren't bothered about that stuff anymore.
If you'd have spoken to 16-year-old me, she'd be outraged.
Oh man, alive!
But then again, she didn't do the shopping. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true, and it's weird. It's weird. What do young people get het up about then? MP3s, Netflix, Frexting, yeah, that kind of stuff. 08459 455 555.
Chickens and eggs.
Yeah, go on. Oh, is that what people are getting upset about?
Yeah, we're not alone.
Catherine does not put her chicken and her eggs in the same shopping bag. She thinks it's cruel.
Disrespectful. Sharon says, I would never have chicken and egg in the same meal, like chicken salad with hard-boiled eggs. It just doesn't seem right, Sharon. I know what you mean.
I don't get the shoving one animal inside another animal.
No,
that's odd.
Seems wrong, doesn't it?
That seems. You can get a thing, can't you, where it's 3 birds inside, like you have like a quail and then like a pigeon and then a duck or something.
Fernie Whittenstall loves it. He rams as much as he can inside one animal. Flipping heck, it's disgusting. To me, it's like an experiment.
It is weird. I do find
how much can you taste? I mean, it's all going to taste like chicken.
Pigs in blankets. That's weird. Was that sausages wrapped in bacon?
Yeah, but I mean, they were wrapped in each other to start with.
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm still getting used to this whole world of meat, and it really is quite incestuous. Very, very bizarre. Are you ready? Very bizarre. 08459 455.
Here's some more bits. This is to do with Kelly and her. The word is now out there, isn't it? That she. Oh yeah,
she is. You should have picked up the word a while ago, and it should be in your head now. What is the word?
The word is now out there. And it's zooming through the ether. It's stuck in someone's head now.
Yeah.
David Hemmel, no, I can't read that one out either, but that might be the word that's in your mind, and I wouldn't blame you.
Oh, dear.
Is the word Kelly is thinking of Chunky Monkeylicious?
Chunky Monkeylicious! No.
No. And Phil in Dunstable, was the word hot pants. Phil's got hot pants on his mind at 10 to 9 in the morning.
Phil, put your hot pants away. The summer is over. We're into winter now, baby. We're into winter.
A pair of opaque tights, you're hot to trot till December.
No, I don't like that. I don't. It's not appropriate. Really, it's not appropriate. Justin, hot pants this time of year.
Morning, boss.
Hello, mate.
Hot pants?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, are you wearing them now?
No.
Good lad. You all right?
No.
What's wrong?
Well, I'm just a little bit angry still.
What, because you can't say the word telepathy, you say telepathy?
Listen, there are certain words that we pronounce in our own unique way.
Yeah, some you mispronounce, and one of them is telepathy. You pronounce telepathy.
You can't say February.
No, I can't. How many R's are there in February?
Oh, I don't know. Go on, you tell me.
Well, you tell me.
1.
No, 2.
2.
February.
No.
February.
Listen, I've worked on your programme for a long time.
Yeah.
Whenever February comes around...
to change that, but...
Whenever February comes around, we always get complaints from people. Because
no, we don't.
Every single morning. Good morning. It's 7:45. It's the 15th of February.
So what do you say? How do you say it then?
February.
Say it again?
February.
Well, you're not saying...
February.
He's saying February.
He's saying February.
Watch your phones light up right now, because if you have got regular listeners... If you have got regular listeners, they'll know that I'm right on this one, but you say that you are right on it. Everyone has their own unique twist on their own words.
Kelly,
okay?
I'm feeling how you're looking now, because he's getting right on my
you come in this morning saying that people cannot read people's minds. I've been out into the streets for you, yet again giving you evidence evidence.
You bullied some simple-minded loons, Justin. That's what you did.
No, you see, you're laughing again, but I've given you the evidence and you're starting to wind me up.
All right, calm down. We've sent you out on a mish.
Yeah,
right?
go on.
Scotland is on the front pages of the papers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored, sick and tired of this whole Scottish thing. Let them go if they want. I couldn't kill. We're asking this morning, what has Scotland ever given to us? Not a great list so far.
They have given us something wonderful.
Yeah?
1988. Yes, it was a long time ago.
They gave us a year.
They gave us Danny Wilson, the group, Mary's Prayer.
Oh, for crying!
How great is that?
I'm not putting that on the list. Another thing they've given us. I'll put this on the list. Mrs. Brown's Boys from Scotland.
Mrs. Brown's Boys?
They're Scottish, aren't they?
No, Irish. Mrs. Brown. She's Irish.
I'm thinking... No.
Who are you thinking of, then?
I'm going to put Mrs. Brown's Boys on the list.
Okay.
No, it's the Bruins.
They give us the Bruins.
Tell you what they did give us.
Willie.
Yeah, Willie.
Willie.
Welly. And the Beano.
Who was it? Kenny Dalglish?
Kenny Dalglish.
Filipinos?
No, the Beano.
Right.
Dennis the Wee Menace.
Okay. Justin, you've taken this to the streets.
Yes,
Mrs. Brown's Boys is on the list until I have it confirmed either way that they are or not Scottish. Yeah. What did you come up with?
Not a lot. As you say, I've taken this one to the streets, and it's quite a brief report, as I predicted.
As they often are.
Yep, here's what people came up with. Richard. Hi, Richard. Scotland. What have they ever given us? I know you're a Three Counties fan. Ian's been talking about it. You look puzzled. So what have they given us?
Marmalade.
Anything else? It's going well.
No, basically.
Do you care if they go their own way?
I think it would be bad for the union, yes. Yeah, economically, basically. But, they've got a free vote. It's up to them to make the decision.
OK, Scotland have given us a lot of things we can culture, tradition.
Such as?
Well, Scottish tradition, they've got history, they've got so much tradition, but I've got to go. I'm late for work.
Sean Connery. Blimey, actually.
Sean Connery's the best you can come up with.
It's not bad to come up with, is it?
Anything else that Scotland have given us which you enjoy on a regular basis?
Travis. I'm really struggling to think.
Do you care about Scotland? I think it's a no, isn't it?
Not much, no.
My dad.
Fantastic. That's a great answer. I presume you care about Scotland then?
Me? Not really, no.
Even though the fact your dad's from Scotland, you don't care?
No, not really, no.
You can't have Sean Connery. He lives in the Caribbean.
Right, OK. So he's gone. Out of that, we had...
Marmalade.
And Travis.
Do you remember Travis were going to be massive, and then Coldplay came along and kind of stole their boring thunder, didn't they?
Yeah, you see, boring bands, there could be a phone, and boring bands that people go for.
Aztec Camera, Catherine's just said, well done.
Yeah, this could be
Hey, can we do that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Boring bands. Let's get that fella that we've not had for a while. There's a music journalist we get that no one else gets, and he's really good. Kels will know who he is. Let's get him on and talk about boring bands.
Because people always talk about Coldplay being dull play.
Yeah.
But so many people go and buy their albums. Oh, yep, morning, sir. So many people buy their albums and go and watch their concerts.
The Lighthouse Family.
Is there something? Yeah, great example. Morning, sir, morning. Is there an example in... is there a point to being boring? Because people go for it, don't they?
Well, bland is the new rock. Justin, we'll do that tomorrow. That's a cracking one. Thank you very much. There's a music journal we used to get. We've not had him for ages, and he's brilliant. And he will get that. Kels knows. Kels will remember. You remember him, don't you, Kel? Yeah, all right, wicked. Philomena's on the line. Morning, Philomena.
Morning to you.
What have you got for us?
Bay City Rollers, Scotland.
Yeah, another boring band. Yeah, Bay City Rollers. Yeah. It's not looking good for the Scotch.
I just want to say that Mrs. Brown's Boys are Irish.
Are they definitely Irish?
Definitely Irish. Brendan O'Carroll is from Dublin.
Okay, and they're Irish characters, are they?
Yes.
How do you know this, Philomena?
Because I'm Irish and...
But you've got a Scottish accent.
Do I?
It sounds Scottish.
I've probably got a conglomerate of accents. I've lived in different places in the world.
Oh, I see. What's the most glamorous place you've ever lived in?
I think Greece is nice.
Whereabouts in Greece did you live?
Mainly on Crete for 2 winters.
Wow. It sounds exotic.
I went to Greece for 2 weeks and I came back 2 years later.
Wow. I was thinking Catherine's got a question that I probably can't ask, but she can.
2 words. Shirley Valentine?
Oh, no. Oh, gosh. No, I'm not Shirley Valentine.
Was there a gentleman...
What made you stay then?
I'm sorry?
What made you stay then, Philomena?
Oh, I just loved the culture, and I worked all over there on restaurants and stuff, but I love the climate, the culture, I love the food.
The men?
I'm sorry?
Was there a special gentleman over there?
No,
Oh.
no. I was just young and carefree and part of my misspent youth.
It's good food. My wife's half Greek. It's good food, isn't it?
Oh, it's polioreo, calaplitico.
Oh, Oreo. Oh, no, I was going to say something rude. Oreo. That means good.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Yes. Philomena, lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Well, she's lived a life, hasn't she?
Didn't fancy the Greek men, though, apparently.
They're very hairy. Maybe I'm confusing Ireland with Scotland.
Yeah.
That could be it. Shall we go through the list? This is what we've got that Scotland have given us so far. Ronnie Corbett, Shortbread, The Crankies, Tyres, War, Tarmac, Granny Murray, The Proclaimers, Marmalade and Travis.
Here's Les McEwen,
great list.
Bay City Rollers, Rubbish Lager, Simple Minds, Wee Jimmy McGregor, and the Bruins.
Do you know what? Scotland, you're welcome to your independence. Bye-bye.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, busy and moving at the moment between junction 12 at Flitwick and junction 11 for Dunstable Road. In Cannington, Luton Road is closed at the moment between Hyde Road and Woodside Road following an accident that's happened there. The A1M very heavy at the moment, heading southbound between junction 9 at Letchworth and junction 7 for Stevenage. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, looking very slow between junction 22 for St Albans and junction 20 at Kings Langley. Just checking on the trains, everything's running well across the three counties. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. That's it. That's your lot. Busy show today. Lots of calls. I'm sure there'll be lots of calls for JVS. If you want to get in touch with him, start dialing now. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Cals. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Scoins. We'll be back tomorrow at 6.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Monday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, are you now worried that Scotland will vote for independence?